Jersey. Tonight it's a matchup between teams both battling for their playoff lives on Long Island. It's the Vancouver Canucks and the New York Islanders. NHL hockey is on the air.
You're listening to Vancouver Canucks hockey on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda with you. Thanks for joining us as we continue to get you set for the Canucks and the Islanders coming up in just a few minutes. And tonight's betting odds are brought to you by Play Now, the official sports betting partner of the Vancouver Canucks. Bet on tonight's player props with Play Now. Pregame odds on Quinn Hughes to score one or more goals are 4.00 at Play Now, so a $10 bet has a potential total payout of $40 if Hughes scores at least one goal against the Islanders. Must be 19 plus to play if you gamble. Use your game sense. The keys to victory are brought to you by your BC Honda dealers. Need more power and versatility in your lineup? Meet the 2025 Honda CR-V Sport with rates from 1.49%. Visit bchonda.ca. And our first key tonight for the Canucks, Randeep, is to activate their defense and get them involved in the offense.
We've seen that the last couple of games. 2 goals that were scored last game. One set up by Marcus Pettersson going down the left half wall. Derek Forbort set up another one working down low. That's going to be the key for Vancouver. In addition to forward scoring, can you activate the defense? Can you generate and squeeze some more offense out of everybody on the ice?
Our second key for the Canucks tonight is the special teams battle. The Islanders are dreadful on both the power play and the penalty kill. They've got the worst power play in the league. They've got the third worst penalty kill in the league. So if you take advantage of any chances you get on the power play, if your penalty kill does its job, that could certainly make the difference in this game.
Absolutely. And for Vancouver, even though there have been some rough patches on the power play, they haven't looked maybe the most chemistry on the power play unit. All you need is that 1 or 2 opportunities to take advantage of a bad PK unit. On top of that, though, I will say, New York Islanders don't take many penalties. So if you get 2 or 3 opportunities, you have to make use because they might not take any more penalties.
Canucks haven't gotten much help on the out-of-town scoreboard of late. Both the Flames and the Blues won yesterday, so Vancouver currently sits 5 points behind St. Louis for the final wild card playoff spot. Canucks do have 2 games in hand, so they'd only be 1 point back. If they won those games in hand, they're also 1 point behind Calgary, and the Flames have a game in hand on them. 11 games left in the regular season, including this one tonight. The stakes continue to ramp up with every passing day.
This is must-win hockey for this team because you mentioned it, St. Louis has only dropped 6 points since the Four Nations face-off. That's how hot they've been. Calgary continues to pick up points and come back in games to win. So you can only control what you can control for Vancouver. That's picking up 2 points every night. And then the out-of-town scoreboard, of course, you have to pay attention to that. But that's out of their control right now, Batch. You can control your effort. You can control your own results. Everything else, unfortunately, at this point of the season, you have to rely on some luck as well.
And you're going to need guys to step up with some of the injuries you have. And let's talk about a couple guys who did that against the Devils the other night, beginning with the goaltender, Thatcher Demko, who returned to the crease, made that tremendous save on Paul Cotter in overtime, and ultimately was able to backstop his team to a huge win.
There's a lot of focus on that save on Cotter, as there should be. It was the highlight reel save, but there was one stretch during the second period on the PK, and New Jersey had 2 or 3 chances downhill after the Canucks gave away the puck, and that was the moment to me where I said, all right, Thatcher Demko, he's looking confident right now. He was able to make those saves, direct him into the corner, good rebound control, and you're going to need more of that tonight. Of course, the New Jersey Devils score at a higher rate than the New York Islanders, but there are a couple of players on this roster that can score from the back end. You have Noah Dobson, Tony DeAngelo's been able to put up points, and up front, Bo Horvat and Anders Lee.
Meanwhile, Pius Suter also had a big game for the Canucks. He's the number 1 center right now with Pettersson and Hedl both out of the lineup. Played a career-high 23 minutes and 2 seconds. He leads the club with 18 even-strength goals this year and has been playing in a matchup role, too.
He has, and he's been doing a little bit of everything. We cracked the joke about the Swiss Army knife. He's not a pocket knife anymore. I think he's more of a medium-sized knife now if we're talking about, his ability to make an impact, because he can kill penalties, he can score on the power play. 5-on-5, he played against Heischer's line against New Jersey, but even going further back, he did a heck of a job against Mark Scheifele's line in the Winnipeg game, going back to the Vancouver homestand. So this is a player that's confident right now. Rick Tocchet has always praised his smarts, but now he's also praising the amount of work he's putting in the gym and the hard work that he's put into this year. And it's showing as he's scoring, but he's also playing a heck of a two-way game.
And also Jonathan Lecker-Mackey, who scored a big third period goal, scored the shootout winner as well, the 20-year-old scoring big goals at big times, and they're going to need him to continue to do that too.
No doubt about that, and we know he's got the shot. It's just a matter of can he win the trust of the coach where he's out a little bit more on the ice. He played 9 minutes and 52 seconds the last game. In that, he made an impact. He scored a goal in regulation. Of course, he was able to set up a couple of chances later on as well. In overtime, had a great look, and then in the shootout, just taking his spot against Jacob Markstrom. He looked like a veteran sniper on a couple of those plays. You like to see that, but what I loved most about his game that night, Batch, was his ability to get inside to score that goal where he gets the pass from Derek Forbort, and it's a great pass, but you have to make yourself presentable in that position. Lecker-Mackey got there, got to the toughest part of the ice, and scored the goal.
Let's take a look at the scratches tonight. First for Vancouver, Noah Juulsen, Philip Hedl, Elias Pettersson, Niels Höglander, and Kevin Lankinen out of the lineup with injuries or ailments at the moment. Victor Mancini is the lone healthy scratch for the Canucks. The Islanders don't have Matt Barzal or Semyon Varlamov due to injuries. Matt Martin, Scott Mayfield, Scott Perunovich, and Adam Boqvist are healthy but won't play for the Isles tonight. The starting lineups are brought to you by Angry Otter Liquor. Shop a top-line selection of beer, wine, and spirits at Angry Otter Liquor. For the Islanders, it's Ilya Sorokin in goal. No regulation losses in his last 5. He's 3-0-2 with a .921 save percentage in that span. On the back end, it's Alexander Romanov skating alongside Tony DeAngelo to begin the game. The forward line is Anders Lee with J.G. Pajot and Anthony Duclair. For the Canucks, Thatcher Demko starts a second consecutive game. He made 22 saves and gave up 3 goals in the 4-3 shootout win over the Devils on Monday. The captain, Quinn Hughes, starts on left defense with Philip Hronek to his right. And it's the top line to start up front. Jake DeBrusk on left wing with Pius Suter down the middle and Brock Besser on the right side. Another massive game with huge playoff implications for both teams. It's the Canucks and the Islanders. We'll have the opening face-off when we return. You're listening to Alpine Credits Canucks Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
For over 130 years, Andrew Sherritt Limited has been a trusted teammate for Canadian contractors, delivering top brands at fair prices. From plumbing and HVAC to irrigation, waterworks, and fire protection, they supply all you need for the job. You'll love their lineup of American Standard products, award-winning, easy-to-install tubs, sinks, toilets, and faucets for homes and businesses. Shop online through the customer portal at Sherritt.com or meet the expert team at any one of the 31 Andrew Sherritt Limited branches across Western Canada.
At Wolseley, we're the people behind your projects. When you visit one of our branches, you're not just getting products, you're getting expert guidance from our knowledgeable associates. We're here to help you find the right solutions for every job, fast. No one knows your needs like we do. Whether you shop at one of our branches or online at WolseleyExpress.com, experience the difference our team makes in keeping your projects on track. Your project, our priority.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Jan owns a home and a restaurant fusing French and Mexican cuisine. But she is fusing no more because her ovens have gone kaput. She heard about Alpine Credits, who sent over their speediest superhero. And a Dash was approved for a business loan to fix her ovens. The hero even had some of her poutine nachos. Yum! Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved.
Having trouble visualizing tile in your space? Visit Tiletown, where you can style it before you tile it. Come to any of their 3 locations in Victoria, Richmond, or Langley to visit their in-house design consultants. Can't make it into a store? Visit their room visualizer online to see a finished product from the comfort of your own home. Get started today at Tiletown, locally owned, operated, and proudly Canadian since 1971. Find your location at mytiletown.ca.
9, Den!
Dude, what are you doing?
Well, we're going hunting this weekend. You told me to bring my summer guns.
Okay.
And check out these babies.
No, I meant literal guns, not your arms. Come on, we're going to Siwash Sports. Sun's out, guns out.
Get ready for summer with great deals on rifles, shotguns, ammo, optics, accessories, and more. All at Siwash's brand new Young Road location. The Fraser Valley's Siwash Sports. Now open at 9020 Young Road in Chilliwack and online at siwashsports.ca.
A 19-year-old girl was kidnapped. I'm gonna bring her home.
Jason Statham is a working man.
Where's the girl?
You a cop?
You wish I was a cop.
From the director of The Beekeeper.
This is human trafficking.
You do this, you better go full on.
Is that a grenade?
You ain't a cop. You're a working man.
That's right. Time to get to work.
A Working Man, this Friday.
Hey, this is Patrick Demko.
CC with a one-timer. Good save by Demko down low. Rebound chance for Evander Kane. Demko stopped that, too.
And you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back. Brendan Batchelor and Randeep Janda with you, and it's just about time to drop the puck on the 72nd game of the regular season for the Vancouver Canucks, taking on the New York Islanders. The Canucks are 5 points behind the St. Louis Blues for the last wildcard playoff spot in the Western Conference after their 4-3 shootout victory over the New Jersey Devils on Monday. The Islanders, meanwhile, can move into a playoff spot with a win over the Canucks tonight. They're 1 point back of the Montreal Canadiens. Canucks are wearing the road white uniforms with blue and green trim tonight. They'll skate from right to left in the first period. The Islanders in their home blue jerseys with orange and white trim will go from left to right. And the game is underway as Jean-Gabriel Pajot won the faceoff at center and dumps it into the Vancouver zone to our right. Quinn Hughes back to it behind the net. Cleared near corner for Pius Suter. He'll play it ahead to Filip Hronek. Hronek to the red line, sent it ahead for Jake DeBrusk. Couldn't gain the Islander blue line, and Anders Lee's back into the Canuck end on left wing. Had the puck swept back out to center by Filip Hronek. Tony DeAngelo at his own line. Gets the pass from Alexander Romanov. Skates right wing to center. Dumps it behind the Canuck net. Thrown back to the near corner. Lee first to it on the forecheck. Tries a centering pass into the slot. Picked off by Brock Besser. And he'll flip it left wing for Quinn Hughes joining the rush. Hughes left wing to the offensive blue line, dumps it into the corner. Teddy Bluger's after it on the forecheck, but Noah Dobson's up with it instead. He'll roll it all the way down under pressure. It's icing against the Islanders. Just 49 seconds into a scoreless first period. Randeep Janda.
Early on in this game, the matchup seems to be Pajot's line against Suter's line and Bluger's line against Horvat. So the Vancouver Canucks' current 53 against the former 53. And this is a great way to start off that Horvat line in their own defensive zone, as the Canucks are trying to add some early pressure here.
The referees tonight are John McIsaac and TJ Luxmore. Derek Nansen and Brian Pancic are on the lines. As the Islanders win the draw, Noah Dobson behind his own net is chased to the far corner by Connor Garland. Canucks get it free. Marcus Pettersson to the left point. Tyler Myers with a long-timer, missed the net. It bounced back into the slot. Nearly landed on the tape of Drew O'Connor, but he fanned on his shooting chance, and here come the Islanders to center. Paul Mary, right wing in front for Horvat. He's robbed by Demko. Down into the splits. An unbelievable save against his former teammate. Thatcher Demko comes up huge in the early moments to keep this a scoreless hockey game. As Garland drives to the Islander line, he'll dump it back in. Horvat won't be able to believe that he wasn't able to score on that sequence. It was virtually identical to the stop he made on Paul Cotter in overtime against the Devils on Monday, and Demko has come to play yet again.
Well, one thing's for sure, we know the flexibility is right for Thatcher Demko. 2 back-to-back saves in back-to-back games,
Now here's Linus Karlsson driving the Islander goal off the left wing boards, was stopped in tight by Sorokin. And Elias Pettersson dumps it behind the Canuck net. Derek Forbert's after it near corner. Linus Karlsson in to help out. Passes left point for Niels Oman, covering it. Hopped over his stick out to center. And Casey Cizikas is after it on the forecheck. But Elias Pettersson takes it behind his own goal and drops it back to the near corner for Derek Forbert. Forbert to the youngest Pettersson, far side. He'll pass left wing to center for Kiefer Sherwood. Sherwood gained the red line. Mishandled the puck, though, and it's rolled back into the Canucks zone by Kyle McLean, forcing Quinn Hughes to take it behind his own goal. Hughes chased out the near side by Siplikov, got it to Dakota Joshua, left wing of the red line. He'll dump it in. Hits Romanov into the end board. Sherwood in to help out on the forecheck. Plays to Joshua behind the net, trying to wrap around far post. Held out by Sorokin. And now Kyle McLean picks up the loose change and drives to the Vancouver line on left wing, dumping it behind the Canuck net. Hronek hits McLean into the end boards. Puck rolls free far corner. Siplikov has it for the Islanders. Cycles around the end boards. Tony DeAngelo pinches in from the right point. Plays it behind the net for Mark Gatcombe, the former Abbotsford Canuck. Back to DeAngelo at the line. Left side for Dobson. Mishandled the pass. Is pressured by Joshua, who kicked it just out of the zone. And Siplikov brings it back in on the right wing. Forced wide by Hronek. Maxim Siplikov behind the Canuck net. Pushed to the end boards by Philip Hronek, and he'll flip it high in the air to center. Besser was in behind the defense, but the pass was up in the air. He couldn't glove it down to himself, and it rolls deep into the zone. Besser on the forecheck left corner, battling with Dobson. Adam Pelech got it free behind the net, and now here come the Islanders to center. Anthony Duclair to the Vancouver line, trying to cut into the slot. Stripped of the puck by Pius Suter. Nice play on the back check. He fires it ahead for Besser. Into the Islanders zone on right wing. Besser delays, trying to pass into the slot. Out of the reach of Marcus Pettersson, but Pajot couldn't clear, and it rolls back near corner, where Adam Pelech finds it and fires it off the glass to the Vancouver line. Brock Besser leaves in his own zone for Marcus Pettersson as we near the 4-minute mark of a scoreless first period between the Canucks and the Islanders. Pettersson to center, dumps it left corner. Drew O'Connor's first to it of the forecheck. Left in the corner for Teddy Bluger, pushed to the wall by Bo Horvat. Bluger sweeps it around top of the right circle for Elias Pettersson. He'll funnel it back behind the net. Bluger lost it as Horvat tried to pass in front of his own goal that nearly ended up in the back of his own net. It rolls wide of the target. Now Bluger centers from below the goal line. That pass was intercepted by Kyle Palmieri, and he'll pass right wing to center for Horvat. Driving to the Vancouver line, he's stood up by Derek Forbert. Elias Pettersson's back to it near corner and gets it around the boards up the near wall for Teddy Bluger, who pushes it out to center ice.
Fast-moving period here as both teams looking pretty desperate early on, bringing a heavy forecheck.
DeAngelo, right wing to center, played it off the boards and in deep, but the linesman will say he didn't reach the red line, and it's icing against the Islanders. 4:37 into a scoreless first period.
Couple of close calls for both teams early on. Tyler Myers gets a shot off, and it goes off the boards and goes straight through the blue paint between the legs of Sorokin. This could have bounced right off of Sorokin into the net. And Drew O'Connor, unfortunately, couldn't get a shot off. And going back the other way, Thatcher Demko absolutely stones Bo Horvat, who looked like he had a goal, but yet again, stretch from Thatcher Demko makes a save with the right pad.
That Horvat chance is the only shot the Islanders have mustered on the Vancouver goaltender, while the Canucks have tested Sorokin twice. And Philip Hronek has the puck in his own zone. Passes near side for Quinn Hughes. Hughes throws it up the near boards. Jonathan Lecker-Mackey dumped it into the Islander end, but there's a delayed offside with Niels Oman caught deep. And Romanov can set up the breakout for New York. DeAngelo, right wing to center, rolls it in wide of the net of Demko. Hronek's got it far corner, makes a nice rink-wide pass to the near side. It was behind Quinn Hughes. He couldn't clear the zone and has to take it deep behind his own net. Hughes is chased to the corner by Cizikas, who pushed him into the wall, but Hughes got it free to Atu Ratu. Sent it to center for Kiefer Sherwood. Now right wing for Dakota Joshua. Driving to the net. He lost the handle on the puck as it went through the crease. He was the beneficiary of a pick play from the referee, who got in the way of DeAngelo trying to defend him. Now Sherwood tried to pass back to the right point. It got past Myers and rolls deep into the Canucks zone, and the big Vancouver defenseman retreats to it. Myers on the breakout from behind his own goal. Skates it to center, dumps it in on the right wing. It rims around to the left corner. Jake DeBrusk after it. Got it free to Brock Besser. Back to the line for Marcus Pettersson, who couldn't hold in, but swept it back into the zone anyway, and it's offside against the Canucks. 5:50 into the first. No score between Vancouver and the New York Islanders.
Great opportunity for Dakota Joshua. You mentioned the pick play as the official got in the way of Tony DeAngelo, and Dakota Joshua just drops the left shoulder, goes to the middle of the net, trying to make a move on Sorokin, but just couldn't handle the puck there. But an excellent opportunity. You like to see that from the big power forward.
Joshua with 1 point in his last 5 games, although his game has been trending in the right direction, and that was a good example of it there, as you said, dropping the shoulder and getting to the middle of the ice, which Rick Tocchet has been preaching for this group. Elias Pettersson has the puck at his own line, passes left wing for Jake DeBrusk. Tipped it into the Islanders zone, but Ryan Pulock clears, and then DeBrusk gets it back and dumps it in behind the net. Sorokin leaves his crease, passes to Pulock near corner. Threw it out to center. Elias Pettersson floats it back into New York territory, and Ryan Pulock's back to it. He'll go D to the far boards for Noah Dobson, skating left wing to center. Dobson winds into the Canucks zone around Derek Forbort through a centering pass out front. Peugeot was waiting at the back door, but the pass was in midair, and he couldn't knock it down. Now Garland accelerates into the New York zone, lost the puck rather, comes back to Hronek at the line. His wrist shot was blocked by Peugeot in the slot and cleared to center. Hronek in his own zone. Passes far boards for Teddy Bluger. Now to Quinn Hughes up the near side, joining the rush. Hughes into the Islanders zone is ruled offside, as Drew O'Connor is adjudged to be ahead of the play on the far boards, and there'll be a neutral zone faceoff when we return. 6:49 gone in the first. No score. The Canucks and the Islanders on Alpine Credits Canucks Hockey on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Going on vacation? Spending money in another currency? From dollars to dong, pounds to pesos. If you're still using major banks, you could be getting ripped off. Instead, use Wise and save up to 3 times compared to major banks when you spend money in another currency. Download the Wise app today. Wise, the app for doing things in other currencies. Terms and conditions apply.
Born in the heart of the earth, natural diamonds rise up like the notes of a song from the throat of Mother Nature.
Born in the heart of a plasma chamber, created diamonds fall softly like snowflakes from the heart of a star.
A star that shines like true love.
Natural diamonds are earthborn.
Created diamonds are starborn.
Callum, how much is our most spectacular 1-carat starborn?
Just $1,999.
It's good to be home.
This is for you.
Read it to me.
Spitz, located in Vancouver and Langley.
The countdown is on for all the fun that's in store at Pastime Sports and Games on Upper Deck National Hockey Card Day, Saturday, April 5th. Among the highlights are free packs of cards featuring new rookies and other hockey stars. What's more, mascot cards are back with some of the biggest fan favorites from around the league. More info at pastimesports.ca or visit upperdeck.com/NHCD. It's Upper Deck National Hockey Card Day, Saturday, April 5th at Pastime Sports and Games.
Hey, this is Rick Tocchet, and you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650.
You're listening to Alpine Credits Canucks Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network. Own your home. Alpine Credits can get your loan approved. Alpine Credits homeowners get approved. Visit alpinecredits.ca. 6:49 into the first period. No score between the Canucks and the Islanders. Vancouver's out shooting New York 2-1. We've got a neutral zone faceoff after the Canucks went offside at the Islander line just before the break. Niels Oman to take it opposite Bo Horvat. And Oman won the draw back to center for Hughes. Goes D to the far boards for Philip Hronek, who dumps it into the Islanders' end to our left. Linus Karlsson, forechecking near boards, was knocked down in a battle but got the puck free, and Hughes holds in left point. So Karlsson down the boards. Now to Philip Hronek, right wing side, at the line. Looking for a shooting lane, doesn't have one, so floats it to the corner. Lekermacki plays it free. For Karlsson up the boards, he'll spin it around to Quinn Hughes at the left wing half wall. Hughes spins away from Paul Mary, back into the high slot. He's got room, trying to dance to the right circle. Poke check by Simon Holmstrom. Puck rolls to the corner. Hughes will battle down low with Romanov in the zone and get the puck back to Hronek at the line. Long wrist shot in on net. Stopped by Sorokin. Rebound side of the goal. Cleared by Horvat to the corner with Linus Karlsson trying to pounce on it. Now Hughes tees up a one-timer from the right point, set up by Hronek. And Sorokin held that out, and the Islanders get it to center. Here's Horvat driving into the Vancouver zone, trying to make a move around Hughes, who tipped the puck away to the corner. And Holmstrom's after it on the forecheck for New York, left wing side. Battling with Hronek for the puck. Linus Karlsson in there too, upended in a battle with Horvat. As they continue to fight for it, and Paul Mary gets it free. Passes back to the left point for Adam Pelech. Rims it behind the net. Noah Dobson pinches in from the right point to chip it around to the left corner for Horvat. Center right pass to Paul Mary, right circle, going to the goal. Couldn't get a clean shot away. He was tied up by Hronek. And it rolls back to the far point where, again, Pelech plays it down the wall for Paul Mary, high slot. Now to Dobson, right circle towards the goal, centering pass, cleared for the crease by Quinn Hughes. Paul Mary in the high slot, fanned on a shooting chance, and Linus Karlsson gets it out to center ice.
The Canucks captain with a key interception there. Otherwise, there's a high danger chance in the blue paint.
Pelech dumps it back into the Vancouver zone, found by Dobson near boards. He tried a shot that was tipped high and wide of the net off the stick of Pierre Engvall. Ratu far boards, can't get it out. Pelech took a long wrist shot for the line, stopped by Demko. Engvall driving the net, was looking for the rebound, but the Canuck goaltender covers up and gets the whistle. 8:39 into this first period. There's still no score between the Canucks and the Islanders.
Early on in this sequence, the Canucks get a couple of good opportunities. First, a wrister by Philip Hronek, and then a clapper from Quinn Hughes, but the puck goes back the other way and some high-quality chances in tight for the New York Islanders as Philip Hronik was on the ice for over 2 minutes straight on that last shift. Started in the offensive zone and then just got hemmed into the defensive zone.
Face off to the right of Demko. Suter and Pajot to take it. Shots are now even at 3 apiece. And Pajot shown out of the circle. Anders Lee stepped in to take it, but lost it to Pius Suter, and the Canucks will try to clear their own end. DeBrusk near boards, couldn't get it past Pulock at the line. And Pius Suter's back to it behind the goal, forced to the far boards by Pajot. Suter left deep for Marcus Pettersson, rimmed it around to the near side. Jake DeBrusk across to it. Protects the puck from Pulock, pinching in from the line. Trying to battle it free up the boards. Pius Suter's able to flip it out to center. Brock Besser controlled at his own blue line, dropped it back to Marcus Pettersson, and now for Pius Suter. Ahead to center for Besser. Driving into the Islanders zone, passes left boards for Tyler Myers. Myers delays on the near wall, dumps it to the corner. Besser's after it left wing side. Carrying back up the near boards, flips it to the point. It hopped over the stick of Myers, rolls back to the Vancouver line, and Myers chases back to it, far corner, and leaves behind his own net for Marcus Pettersson. They'll feed it up the near side for Brock Besser. Took a hit from Gatcomb on the forecheck. Canucks get it ahead anyway. Here's Joshua, left wing to the Islander line. He's run over by Gatcomb on the back check. A huge hit for the former Abbotsford Canuck. Now Sherwood got a shot off the right wing, held out by Sorokin, and the Islanders get it out to center. Forbert on the near boards, flips it up the left wing. Aatu Ratu tips it in deep. Joshua's after it. Laid a shoulder into Romanov on the end boards, but there's a whistle, and I believe this is going to be called offside against the Canucks. 9:55 into the first, no score between Vancouver and the Islanders.
And Dakota Joshua was just a little ahead of the play, trying to maybe get some retribution, as that was a massive hit by Gatcomb, as you mentioned, along the left boards, and that's just a shoulder-to-shoulder hit. He catches Dakota Joshua leaning to his left a little bit, and you mentioned it, former Abbotsford Canucks player who scored 12 goals with the Abbey Canucks after spending 3 years in the Canucks organization.
Represented the Canucks at the Young Stars Classic in Penticton in both 2022 and 23. And now getting his first taste of NHL hockey with the New York Islanders after being signed as a free agent this past summer. Canucks forechecking in the Islanders zone. Ratu left boards. The former Islander tried to dump it behind the net. It was broken up by D'Angelo. He couldn't clear the zone, though. Hughes holds in for Sherwood. Top of the left circle, cutting into the slot. Fanned on a wrist shot, then got a second puck to the net. It hit a skate in front. Joshua was battling for the rebound, and D'Angelo cleared it to the corner. Dakota Joshua, right wing side. D'Angelo drops his stick. Joshua protects the puck. In a battle with Holmstrom. Tried to cycle down the boards. D'Angelo got his stick back, broke it up, sent it to Romanov, who feeds to Horvat. He'll delay at his own line and pass out to center for Engvall. Right way for Palmieri to the Vancouver line. Long wrist shot sailed wide of the target. Dobson holds in on the left wing boards. Protected the puck from Hughes behind the net. Centering pass into the slot was out of the reach of Cizikas. It comes back to the line. Long wrist shot from the far boards by Hudson. Fasching deflected off a stick and out of play. 8:58 left in the first. A scoreless game between the Canucks and the Islanders on Alpine Credits Canucks Hockey on Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Born in the heart of the earth, natural diamonds rise up like the notes of a song from the throat of Mother Nature.
Michael, that was positively poetic.
Mother Nature sings diamonds.
Sarah!
Now tell us about created diamonds, Michael.
But.
Welcome home, Sarah.
Did you miss me?
Of course we did.
Where is Michael going?
We need to finish this ad.
Okay, start over. We need to start over.
Born in the heart of the earth, natural diamonds rise up like the notes of a song from the throat of Mother Nature.
Born in the heart of a plasma chamber, created diamonds fall softly like snowflakes from the heart of a star.
A star that shines like true love.
Natural diamonds are earthborn.
And created diamonds are starborn.
Callum, how much is our most spectacular 1 carat starborn?
Just $1,999.
It's good to be home.
This is for you.
Read it to me.
Spence. In Vancouver on Burrard off Robson and in Langley at 200th Street in the Langley Bypass.
Dave and Jacqueline here.
Cue the music.
At BC Hydro, you can choose your own Power Smart adventure.
Choose rates, tips, and rebates that work for you. Think less dragons
and more energy savings.
Learn more at bchydro.com/save.
The Western Hockey League playoffs are here. Watch 40-goal scorer Cameron Schmidt and the rest of the Vancouver Giants face off with Andrew Crystal and the Spokane Chiefs. Vancouver hosts Game 1 at the LEC Friday, March 28th at 7 p.m. Grab your seats at vancouvergiants.com/tickets.
Hey, this is Brock Besser, and you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet 650.
Thanks for joining us along the Sportsnet Radio Network tonight. Whether you're in Newton, on the North Shore, or wherever you're tuning in, we appreciate you spending your evening with us. Let us know where you're listening from. You can reach me at Batch Hockey. He is at Randeep Janda. Our flagship station is at Sportsnet 650. 8:58 left in the first period. A scoreless game between the Canucks and the Islanders. And the faceoffs in the Vancouver zone. Far boards to our right. Teddy Bluger wins it back to Marcus Pettersson. Played behind the net for Derek Forbert. Forbert couldn't clear the zone. But then Connor Garland tips a centering pass back into the Islander end. And Sorokin will leave for Adam Pelech deep in his own end. Pelech behind his own goal. Stretches it left wing to the Vancouver line. For Hudson Fasching, he's pushed to the corner in a battle with Elias Pettersson. Got it free for Pierre Engvall on the left wing boards. Engvall trying to spin away from Bluger. But the Canucks center was successfully able to knock the puck off his stick, and Garland played it out to center ice. Tony DeAngelo back to the red line, dumps it in on Demko, and he'll hold it with his glove and get the whistle. 8:18 remaining in a scoreless first period. It's the Canucks and the Islanders.
Well, there's been a lot of talk, obviously, for the Vancouver Canucks and their playoff hopes, which sit around 21.5% as of right now. But on the other side, the Islanders, if they win tonight, they're back at a playoff spot themselves, wild card 2 in the East after Montreal got absolutely manhandled by the St. Louis Blues yesterday. But the Islanders do have the third toughest schedule remaining in the NHL.
So it's not going to be easy for them. Although they've been playing great hockey of late. Shot off the right wing by Duclair. Bounced off a skate in front, rolls to the near corner. Anders Lee after it, brings it around to the left wing side. Passes back to the line for Mike Riley. Now to the near point. Ryan Pulock tried a long shot. It rolled wide of the net. Duclair's after it far corner. Pressured by Marcus Pettersson. Got it back to Riley. Dumps it behind the goal for Lee in the right wing corner. Now to the near point for Ryan Pulock. Long wrist shot through traffic was blocked by Marcus Pettersson and deflects up into the netting and out of play.
9 shots on goal in this one so far, but outside of really the Bo Horvat chance in tight, it's been a lot from distance, especially for the Vancouver Canucks, as there was a point shot from Philip Hronek or Quinn Hughes, and they've been able to generate, trying to go low to high, but there's been a lack of chemistry. Haven't been able to connect with some of the passes going back to the point. They've set up possession, but sometimes just getting that pass back to the point hasn't been tape to tape, which has really killed some of their momentum.
Islanders win a scrambled face-off of the Canucks zone. Gatcomb took a hard shot from a tough angle right wing. Demko held it out. Gatcomb feeds back to the line for Romanov. Nice move around Ratu down the left wing. Threw it right to the goal. Demko made the save. Rebound side of the net is gathered by Quinn Hughes, and he'll turn back up ice. Hughes leading the rush to center. Dumps it into the right corner Islanders zone. It bounces back into the slot. Romanov is pushed to the boards by Aatu Ratu. And they'll battle for it left corner. Kiefer Sherwood in there as well. It comes to DeAngelo behind the net. He's hit by Joshua as he played it loose to Maxim Siplikov. And he'll flip it out to center for Kyle McLean, who dumps it behind the Canuck net. Demko out of the goal. Leaves for Philip Hronek, who will take his time for behind the Canuck net. 7 minutes left in a scoreless first period between Vancouver and the New York Islanders. Hronek skates it to center on right wing. Dumps it behind the goal. Noah Dobson back to it. Carries around to the far side, floats it up the wall for Bo Horvat, and he'll clear it to the Canuck blue line. Quinn Hughes knocked it down. Simon Holmstrom swept it deep, but Hughes breaks it up and fires it up the left wing for Linus Karlsson. Into the Islanders zone. Karlsson delays near boards. Protected the puck, passes back right point for Elias Pettersson off the bench with a hard wrist shot. That missed the target. And now here's Dobson back to center. Chance for a 2-on-1 for the Islanders. Dobson in front for Horvat. He's robbed by Demko again. Another great lateral stop. And the former Canuck captain has had 2 great chances to give his team the lead, as the Islanders are now called offside of the Vancouver line after they couldn't hold a puck in. Thatcher Demko has had 2 tough saves to make in this first period, both of them against his former teammate, and he has answered the bell both times.
And it starts with Elias Pettersson taking a shot at the offensive zone, misses the net, launches a counterattack the other way as both Elias Pettersson and Derek Forbort were caught up ice. Connor Garland coming back to play the 2-on-1. But what a save by Thatcher Demko, going from left to right to make that save yet again on Bo Horvat.
This one, I believe, was off his blocker or his right arm. And Demko looks dialed in. He's stopped all 7 Islander shots here with just over 6 minutes left in this scoreless first period. Canucks win the draw. Tyler Myers played it to Teddy Bluger. He'll drop it back near side for Marcus Pettersson. Sent it to center, but the Canucks couldn't control, and the Islanders dump it back in. Myers behind his own net is hit into the end boards by Engvall. Fought it free for Bluger, far boards. He'll roll it out to center. Garland's after it and makes a nice pass. Drew O'Connor right wing into the Islanders zone. Tried to go back to Garland in the slot. It was broken up, and Garland gets it on the boards. His centering pass is intercepted by Casey Zizekas, who skates right wing to the Vancouver line. He's poke checked by Marcus Pettersson. Puck rolls back to center, and Bluger clears near side for O'Connor, who dumps it in behind the Islander net. Romanov back to it. Will accelerate to center. The former Montreal Canadien gains the Vancouver line, drops high slot for D'Angelo with a screen wrist shot stopped by Demko off the waffle board to the far wall. And Hronek takes it behind his own net. Funnels it up the near side. Puck is chipped out to center, and Jean-Gabriel Pageau has to go back to it behind his own net. Pageau chased to the far corner by DeBrusk. Leaves for Romanov behind the net. Back to Pageau. Left wing to the Vancouver line. Ahead for Anders Lee, who dumped it in. Pageau first to it on the forecheck. Watched by Hughes up the near boards. He'll play back to the line for Dobson, whose long shot misses the net, and Lee gets it left wing of the hash marks. His centering pass tipped away by Hronek. Rolls right to Pageau in the slot. He fanned on his shot. Goes back to Dobson to the line. His long wrister was blocked by DeBrusk, but Pelech holds it in the zone. Comes it behind the Canuck net. Lee centers in front. Another great save by Demko on a one-time chance, point blank, off the stick of Anthony Duclair in the slot. And the Canuck goaltender holds on for the whistle. 4:44 left in the first. No score. The Canucks and the Islanders on Alpine Credits Canucks Hockey on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
March is here, and so are the savings at Angry Otter Liquor. This month, enjoy $6 off 24 packs of BC's own Kokanee. Crisp and refreshing. Shop local, support local. We're proud to feature a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits produced right here in BC and across Canada. Whether you're stocking up for game night or a weekend getaway, they've got you covered. Find great deals all month long. Follow Angry Otter Liquor on social media and shop local today.
Spring is here, so get back in the game with Kubota Tractor. The compact Kubota BX23S is the Swiss Army knife of tractors, featuring a loader and backhoe that can dig, haul, and clear your property with ease. For bigger jobs, the Kubota L3902 has the power and versatility to tackle any task. Score big on unbeatable deals. Visit a DLE Avenue location or DLEAMC.com for details. Quality, value, precision. There is only one Kubota.
The season started. It's time to up your game with Greater Vancouver Power Sports. BC's largest Can-Am Sea-Doo Ski-Doo dealer is celebrating 20 years, and they want you to get out there and play. Come see the huge selection of ATVs and side-by-sides to get the job done. Plus, find a wide selection of climb gear, Yeti drinkware, coolers, and totes. Greater Vancouver Power Sports. Play hard, rule the season. Check them out in Chilliwack, Langley, and GVPS.ca today.
Hey, this is Connor Garland.
It's 4-0 Canucks with 6:41 left in the second.
And you're on the home of the Canucks, Sportsnet Radio Network.
Get your tickets for the Canucks online 50-50 draw. Go to VancouverCanucks5050.com to enter. Ticket sales close at 6:30 tonight. Must be 19 plus and located in BC at the time of purchase to play. Know your limit. Play within it. Brendan Batchelor alongside Randeep Janda. 4:44 left in the first. No score between the Canucks and the Islanders. Make sure to stay tuned for Canucks Central at the intermission with Satyar Shah and Bick Nazar coming up right at the end of the period. Face off to the left of Demko in the Vancouver zone. Controlled by the Canucks. Derek Forbort pokes it up the near wall, and Kiefer Sherwood skates it to center, rolling it deep into the Islanders zone. Looked like he'd won the race on the forecheck to negate the icing, but the linesman didn't agree, and they'll bring the draw all the way back into the Canucks zone again.
And Kiefer Sherwood wasn't happy with that, and he wasn't happy with the extra push that Mike Riley gave him. That's the truculent nature of Kiefer Sherwood. Even when he's happy, he's got this look on his face that he's not fully enthusiastic about the situation. He's just a truculent character, which when you have 400 hits in a season, above that now, you got to have a certain type of attitude. I love to see it.
Set the record for hits in a season on Saturday against the Rangers, and then became the first player in recorded history to hit the 400 hit plateau, as you allude to, in the game Monday against the Devils. Ratu wins the draw, far circle in the Vancouver zone, using that technique where he flips his stick over the wrong way as a left-handed shot. And the Canucks get it to the Islander line as a result. Ratu couldn't clear it deep, but now Joshua skates it in on the right wing. Sherwood after it in the corner, rims it around to the near boards. Ratu battling with Kyle McLean and Mark Gatko as Joshua joins the fight for the puck along the half boards. Sherwood on the vicinity of that as well, but Gatcombe comes away with it and rolls it to the Vancouver line. Siplikov with it. Drives to the far corner, watched by Derek Forbert. He'll carry back to the line, passes right circle for Tony DeAngelo. Low shot kicked out by Demko off the right pad. That was more of a shot pass, looking for a tip from Paul Mary. And Bo Horvat has to chase the puck back into his own zone. 3:45 left in the first. No score, the Canucks and the Islanders. Horvat goes right wing for Paul Mary to the Vancouver line. He'll dump it near corner for Horvat. Pushed to the boards in a battle with Pius Suter. Sent free up the near boards for Brock Besser. And Besser scampers left wing to the red line and dumps it in. Romana back to it. Hit into the end boards by Jake DeBrusk. Played it free for Paul Mary, far corner. He floats it to the line, not out. Held in by Tyler Myers with a shot deflected off a stick into the slot. Suter's wrister was blocked by Romanov to the corner. And now Horvat controls at his own line. Has his pocket picked on the back check by Besser. Jake DeBrusk came up with the puck but couldn't handle it cleanly. And Simon Holmstrom dumps it behind the Canuck net. Paul Mary after it far corner. Got it to Horvat, who took a tough angle wrister. But deflects up into the mesh and out of play with 2:59 left in the first. The Islanders are out shooting the Canucks 10-4, but there are still no goals in the game.
And it feels like Pius Suter has like Velcro on when everything's sticking to him here. He's a bit of a magnet when it comes to the puck in the middle of the ice. As another opportunity for Vancouver, and the puck just pops loose towards him, and he's in the right spot. Doesn't get the shot off, but that's how he scored 21 goals this year. He's always finding himself in the right area, in the slot, around the blue paint. And when you go there, you're going to find goals.
Islanders win the draw on the Vancouver end. Shot for the point by Pelech went wide of the target. Engvall on the near boards tries to turn and fire, but it misses wildly into the corner. Adam Pelech pinching down the far boards, lost the puck to Connor Garland, couldn't get it out of the zone. Teddy Bluger rolls it back deep, and Philip Hronek has it behind his own net. Hronek cleared far point. Pelech held in again. Long wrist shot, couldn't beat Demko. And Drew O'Connor picks up the loose puck and skates to center. O'Connor to the Islander line, dumps it to the right corner. He'll chase down Pelech on the end boards. Swept it behind the net for Connor Garland near corner, protecting the puck from Dobson, who knocked him down. Bluger gets it behind the net for O'Connor. Out the right wing side, poke check by Pelech, who leans on him on the wall. And it's tied up right wing corner with players from both teams trying to knock it loose. Garland's pinned to the boards by Dobson. O'Connor, Pelech, Cizikas, and Bluger in there digging away forward as well. It's still tied up along the wall. Officials urging the players to move it. And now Garland does get it free. Back to the right point for Hronek. Left side, Quinn Hughes. Into the high slot. Spinning away from Hudson Fasching at the line. Hughes down the right wing. Carries to the corner. Fasching draped all over him. Amazing he didn't draw a hooking penalty there as the Islanders come up with the puck behind the net, and Pelech gets it high off the glass and out to center. Drew O'Connor knocks it down, but Fasching follows up, rolls it into the Canucks zone. Hronek sends it quickly up the left wing for Quinn Hughes. Chased back into his own zone by Ryan Pulock. He lost the puck. Here's Anders Lee, and on net, robbed by Demko with the left pad. An uncharacteristic mistake from Hughes as he turned the puck over at his own line. And the Islander captain had a great chance right down Main Street, but Demko comes up big again. It's still scoreless with 1:28 left in the first.
Anders Lee looking for his 27th goal of the season and nearly got it there. It was good pressure by Pulock. And Quinn Hughes, 90 seconds into a shift, just lets the puck get away from him as he's skating towards his own net. And Anders Lee, with a pretty good look, didn't get everything on that shot, but still a left pad save by Thatcher Demko to keep it out.
Face-off near circle of the Vancouver zone. Won by Oman back to Forbert. Gets it off the glass and out to center. Pollock goes up the near side for Duclair. He'll roll it in wide to the net of Demko, and Tyler Myers is back to the puck. Myers fires a heavy pass right wing to center. Out of the reach of Lekermacki. It's icing against Vancouver.
And with these teams, of course, they're pretty low-event teams. They're not known for their goal scoring. The New York Islanders, very frustrated after their last game, where they were deemed to have had goalie interference on a very important goal that was just deemed off. And Patrick Waugh and the entire team were very, very angry that they lost the game to Columbus as a result.
Wouldn't be surprised if Waugh receives a fine from the NHL for his post-game comments. I'm paraphrasing, but he essentially said that if Toronto's not willing to overturn calls on the ice, then what do we have Toronto for? Here's Lekermacki, right wing, driving to the top of the Islander crease, made a move to the backhand and shot wide of the target. Now Myers, right point, dumps it behind the Islander goal. Mike Riley back to it, far corner, played ahead to center for Anders Lee, tied up by Tyler Myers at the red line, and Niels Oman's onto the puck. Got it back to Myers, who rolls it into the Islanders zone. And Tony DeAngelo stretches it right wing for Palmieri, trying to cut off the near boards into the slot. He lost the puck, and Brock Besser's able to clear the other way. Under 30 seconds left in the period, DeAngelo chased deep into his own zone by Jake DeBrusk. Spun it around far corner. Brock Besser knocks it loose for DeBrusk below the goal line. They'll protect it from Horvat. Nice pass, left point for Forbert. Long wrist shot was blocked by Holmstrom. And Hugh Suiters onto the loose puck near boards. That one stung Holmstrom. He's slow to get up. Besser out of the left corner with a shot from close range. Held out by Sorokin. 5 seconds left in the period. Besser shoots again from the top of the left circle. Missed the goal. Forbert's got it right circle. Placed to the high slot. It's tipped out of the zone by Holmstrom at the buzzer. And that'll do it for the first 20 minutes. No goals between the Canucks and the Islanders after one.
A late flurry by the Canucks there. Brock Besser trying to find a little bit of a gap there on Sorokin to beat him, but can't. But the best play in that period was no doubt Thatcher Demko. 10 saves and 3 or 4 massive saves, including 2 on Bo Horvat off the rush, going full stretch on the first one, and then another one a little bit later on where he's moving side to side yet again. Thatcher Demko looking like his vintage self. He's looking comfortable in the crease, Batch.
Scoreless game after one, and it's time for Canucks Central at the intermission, brought to you by Play Now, the official sports betting partner of the Vancouver Canucks. Must be 18 plus to play. Let's join Satyar Shah and Bick Nazar.
This is Canucks Central at the intermission on the official home of the Canucks. Sportsnet 650 and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here come the Islanders to center. Palmieri right wing in front for Horvat. He's robbed by Demko. Down into the splits. An unbelievable save against his former teammate. And now here's Dobson back to center. Chance for a 2-on-1 for the Islanders. Dobson in front for Horvat. He's robbed by Demko again. Another great lateral stop. And the former Canuck captain has had 2 great chances to give his team the lead.
Thatcher Demko, the story of the first period for the Vancouver Canucks. 2 stellar saves on Bo Horvat, and then also took one away from Anthony Duclair, and the Canucks' best player through the first 20 minutes. And this is Canucks Central at the intermission, scoreless between Canucks and Islanders. It's Bick and Satyar Shah. Get your thoughts in to our Dunbar number text inbox, 650-650. And we are going to get to the betting odds courtesy of Play Now coming up in a bit after a scoreless first period between these two teams. And Thatcher Demko, Bick, the story. I mean, those 2 saves were obviously magnificent, but man, he stood tall that entire period.
No, he was spectacular. Second game back coming from his prolonged absence there for 6 weeks, and he was already good in the last game. Today, the immediate high dangers were there for the Islanders. We'll talk about it. It felt fairly equal in total chances. Maybe the Canucks got a couple more at the end there, but the best ones certainly went to the Islanders, and I imagine they'll feel hard done by not getting a goal already in that opening 20.
Yeah, we don't have any goals to break down, but we have a couple of big chances, and let's break down a couple of big saves.
Sure.
And the ones on Bo Horvat from Thatcher Demko. And the first one
Demko might call him no Horvat. No goals.
Yeah. So the first chance Horvat gets is off the rush. And Thatcher Demko, Bick, I mean, we talk about his ability to go post to post. You saw him do the splits, make that save in overtime to let the Canucks have a chance to win it in a shootout against the Devils. And he's made 2 of those saves, and the first one was on Horvat. And the second one also on Horvat, but on that first one.
That first one was like right on top of the crease, 2-on-1, perfect pass by Palmieri, just putting it into a spot for Horvat to get to.
A bit of like a tip shot, which is like it's on a stick, off a stick, which is really hard for goalies to be able to stop.
Yeah, because you're reading that puck coming into you, and is the defender stopping that forward getting to the net? Marcus Pettersson doesn't in this moment. He can do a lot better, I think, in this moment. And Horvat just works through him and around him and is right there on the top of the crease to get a redirect. And that is a very, very tough save just to get that pad there. And you know how urgent, how like alert you have to be this early in the game for this big chance there. I think it'd be hard pressed to find a better chance in this game.
Yeah, that one was. I mean, there's the other Horvat chance is really good too, but it's from a bit farther out, a bit wider, a bit more time for Demko to come across. We'll get to that in a second here, but you know, I know that you haven't been enamored with some of Marcus Pettersson's defensive play. The other night, you thought on the Meyer goal from Mercer on the power play, didn't love how he played it physically. On this one, you thought, I don't want to play soft, but you want to say soft, but you kind of don't want to see him allow Horvat to get through him that way.
It'd be one thing if someone drew your attention one way and your attention was divert, but it's like there's a weak side player that never gets the puck on this play. But when Horvat kicks it wide to Palmieri, it's essentially just a 2-on-2. And Pettersson's looking wide on Palmieri, and Horvat doesn't really have to engage with Marcus Pettersson. He just kind of goes around him, and it's too easy for Horvat. It's not as if it was in line. He has to generate the speed to go around it. It's all in front of him, but he never gets a hand or a stick on him, and it's all Demko on this play. Horvat essentially just plays it as if there's no defender there.
Yeah, and you know that he can do a lot better on that sequence, but Demko bails everybody out, makes a massive save, and he makes another big one on Bo Horvat. This one from a feed from Noah Dobson on a 2-on-1, and this all starts because Elias Pettersson misses a shot with the rims around. It leads to the rush chance going the other way. But you all liked what Elias Pettersson was doing, getting on his horse to get back in on that play.
Look, be aggressive. Take the shot when it comes around to you. He swoops, like he's coming downhill, so all his momentum is taking him towards the goal line, and he swoops around the net, and he recognizes early, Forbert's pinched. We're both deep here, and Garland's the last man back. And he gets on his horse, and he's doesn't influence the play, but he does everything he possibly can to get back into this one. And look, Demko's there to bail everyone out again with a fantastic save. But you go be aggressive. Are you willing to recover in that moment? And he showed a lot of speed on this play to make sure he gets back into it.
Yeah, at least made it a little bit harder. And, you know, and the shot ends up coming from a bit of a wider, almost at the circle. So it gives Demko some time, but he still has to come across and make an incredible save to rob Bo Horvat again. A good feed from Noah Dobson. And Dobson also almost set up Pajot on a 2-on-1 rush off the wall earlier in the period too. And Pajot couldn't make contact with the puck. He was standing in the goal mouth, wasn't able to make contact with it. But Dobson, I thought, was very active in that period for the Islanders, and even Romanov I thought was really good. I mean, he dusted Ratu on a play in the Canuck zone and got a shot off the wing. He's skating the puck up ice. The defense for both teams have been aggressive, and Noah Dobson, for all the criticism he's had this first period offensively, he was one of the more dangerous players for the Islanders.
Sorry, I just want to cycle back for a second because it wasn't loading. The speed that he got up to for Elias Pettersson, 23.72 miles per hour.
That's pretty good.
That was the top speed obviously in the game. I'm assuming it's on that play because he was flying, I would imagine, back on that play. But Noah Dobson, and throughout the course of this game, like even Tony DeAngelo, that the right-handed D-man for the Islanders, it looks like the Islanders trying to flood one side of the rink and bring that weak side defender in. So Dobson's had a couple of nice plays, obviously 2-on-1s and getting the puck into the crease, but just in general in zone, they're trying to get that they've trying to get that weak side defender down the ice a little bit and see if that opens up a spot for the Canucks. And there's been a couple of freelancing moments defensively, like on the Duclair play.
Yeah, Duclair is the other great chance. I mean, it's a low to high play, and he's right in front of the goal, and Demko makes a great save.
I think it was huge.
Team had JT Miller and Bo Horvat down the middle. Right now, maybe a bit more of an unknown or kind of a role-playing center crew, but had pretty good success at the dot in the opening period. Got to say, Quinn Hughes, even though he doesn't have any recorded shots, just one attempt in that opening period, really, when he is on the ice, you feel like he is everywhere in both the offensive zone. He had a good play to stop a goal from Noah Dobson in the defensive zone. So, even though not a lot is happening on the scoreboard right now, Greg, it feels like a lot has been going on in the ice. Pretty entertaining first period so far.
0-0 after one between the Islanders and the Canucks from UBS Arena. Coming up just a minute away, another look at the New York Islander quarter-century team. Today, we look at Semyon Varlamov. You're listening to New York Islanders Hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
Coyote Promotions supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU.
Proud to produce New York Islanders hockey. This is WRHU-FM, Hempstead Radio, Hofstra University.
This broadcast of New York Islanders hockey on WRHU is underwritten in part by UBS Arena. More information about UBS Arena is available at NewYorkIslanders.com/Belmont.
Wake up your mind. Start your day with Hofstra's Morning Wake Up Call. Weekday mornings, 7 till 9 a.m. Lively talk about Long Island life, national news, and international issues from the minds and mouths of Hofstra students.
This is Ryan Pollock. You're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
And this is Chris King, joined by Greg Picker and Corey Wright back to UBS Arena. Isles and Canucks scoreless after one. Well, earlier this season, the NHL selected the all-quarter-century team for every team in the National Hockey League. Essentially, their best players for the first 25 years of this century, and they named a first team and a second team. On each team, 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goaltender. The first team goaltender for the New York Islanders was Ilya Sorokin, and the second team goaltender was his longtime partner, Semyon Varlamov. Our Harrison Leone takes a closer look in this feature he calls Isles Quarter-Century Team Varley.
Back in 2019, during free agency, the Islanders were in need of a goalie to match with Thomas Greiss. The Isles looked no further than the Russian netminder Semyon Varlamov. Varley spoke about his decision on coming to the island.
We were able to get it done, and then I just signed a new deal with the Islanders, and I'm very excited about it. I wanted to sign with Islanders because I thought this is right place for me and for my family. And then I think this is a strong organization with a great coaching staff, and I want to be part of that.
Clip courtesy of MSG Network. On October 12, 2019 against the Panthers, Varley would notch his first win as an Islander in the shootout.
Jonathan Huberdeau Deeks shoots, Varlamov the save, and the New York Islanders beat the Florida Panthers 3-2 in the shootout. Semyon Varlamov stops all 3 Florida shooters and picks up his first win as a New York Islander.
Varlamov would be an integral piece in the Islanders' 2 semifinal runs, where he started 33 games combined. Varley's best season on the island was in the 2020-21 season, where he was nothing short of incredible. He racked up 35 wins, had a .929 save percentage, and allowed just over 2 goals a game on average, where he had 7 shutouts. One of his best games that season came against the crosstown rival New York Rangers at the Garden.
Rangers will chase it down, it won't matter, the horn sounds, and the New York Islanders defeat the New York Rangers by the final score of 2-0. Semyon Varlamov's second shutout at Madison Square Garden in as many games this year.
One of Varley's best games as an Islander came last April against the Predators, where he shined and got the shutout.
3-2-1, the horn sounds, and the New York Islanders blank the Nashville Predators by the final score of 2-0. They are out to mob Semyon Varlamov, who has his 3rd shutout this year, the 41st of his career, and his 3rd ever against Nashville.
Varley inked an extension last season to keep him on the island for another 4 seasons to continue his legacy in Islanders history. For the New York Islanders Radio Network, I'm Harrison Leone.
Terrific work, as always, by our Harrison Leone. And unfortunately for Semyon Varlamov this year, he's been limited to just 10 games of action due to a lower body ailment. Well, tonight at UBS Arena, we've played one period. There's no score between the New York Islanders and the Vancouver Canucks. We'll take a quick timeout, and when we return, we'll bring you an in-game sports update with all the out-of-town scores. We'll check in with defenseman Noah Dobson from outside the Islanders' locker room. We'll play Riddle the Radio, recap the first, and start the second. You're listening to New York Islanders hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
This is the New York Islanders Intermission Report.
Live from our WRHU studios, I'm Jake Epstein. The NHL slate is as quiet as a cave tonight with only 3 other games around the league. We head down to the Windy City to kick it off. The Devils are on top of the Blackhawks 2-1. After one, Nathan Bastian got the scoring started early.
Luke Hughes cutting wide in front. Bastian scores! Nathan Bastian gives the New Jersey Devils a 1-0 lead.
That was Nathan's first goal in 18 games. Luke Hughes assisted on both Jersey goals to become the first Devils defenseman with consecutive 30-assist seasons since Brian Falsky. Later in the first, Tyler Bertuzzi put Chi-Town on the board, making it a 1-goal game.
Good play by Donato to lift the stick and keep the play in the zone. Look where they score! Bertuzzi on the back door! A power play goal, and it's a 1-goal game.
Tonight, Connor Bedard can become the 11th player in NHL history to record 2 60-point seasons as a teenager. Only 2 active players have accomplished that feat, Patrick Laine and Sidney Crosby. At 10, the Bruins are in Anaheim. Troy Terry can become the 5th different player in Ducks history with 4 straight 20-goal seasons. David Pastrnak can become the 5th player in Bruins history with at least 4 consecutive 35-goal seasons. To the final game of the slate, the Oilers host the Stars at 10. Thomas Harley can become the 4th fastest defenseman in Stars history to record 100 career points. After 2 in Bridgeport, the Bridgeport Islanders are trailing 3-1 to the Hershey Bears. From the ice to the hardwood, the Knicks and Nets are both at home tonight. The Knicks, with 1:19 left to go in the second, are up 50-47 over the Clippers. And with 4:12 to go, the Nets are losing to the Raptors 53-41. With your first intermission report, I'm Jake Epstein. Your New York Islanders and Canucks are scoreless after the first. Let's send it right back to Chris King and Greg Picker for second period action right here on the New York Islanders Radio Network.
McDonald's supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU, Radio Hofstra University.
This is WRHU FM Hempstead, the radio home for your New York Islanders, Radio Hofstra University, WRHU Hempstead. This broadcast of New York Islanders hockey on WRHU is underwritten in part by UBS Arena. More information about UBS Arena is available at NewYorkIslanders.com/Belmont.
This is Casey Zikas. You're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
Welcome back to UBS Arena. It's Chris King, joined by Greg Picker and Corey Wright. We thank you so much for tuning in to Islanders hockey tonight around the world and making us a part of your Wednesday evening entertainment. Isles and Canucks are scoreless after one. Between periods, MSG's Shannon Hogan talked with New York blue liner Noah Dobson.
After one period of play, it's 0-0 between the Islanders and the Vancouver Canucks. Noah Dobson joining us outside the Islanders room. Butch liked the way that you guys played there in the first 20. How much of an emphasis did you guys make going into this one of having a good start?
Yeah, really important. Thought we were moving our feet. A lot of ozone, lots of chances. Good start. Just have to build on the second and capitalize on our chances.
When you're looking at this Vancouver team, it's hard in the scouting report to ignore a guy like Quinn Hughes. What's the biggest challenge with him out there?
Yeah, he's one of the top players in the game right now. So dynamic offensively. You just gotta have a good stick, try and keep good gaps on him, and when he has time and space, he's dangerous. So just try and take that away. But he's one of the top guys in the game right now. He's tough to play against.
We saw it in the first period here, but we've seen it over the last couple of weeks. The effort you're making to get up on plays. How much does that help you when you're trying to flex that offensive side of your game?
Yeah, just trying to get up in the play, move my feet. When I'm doing that, good things usually happen. So just trying to do what I can to help out offensively and be solid defensively as well.
All right, Noah, thanks so much for your time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Shannon.
And that is Noah Dobson. He was talking there about Vancouver's Quinn Hughes. Comes in at 67 points. When he gets to 70, he'd be just the third U.S.-born defenseman in NHL history to record 3 straight 70-point seasons, joining the great Phil Housley and Long Island native Adam Fox. Again, no score on the island, no penalties to tell you about in the first. Vancouver doubled up, or rather the Islanders doubled up Vancouver in shots 10-5, and it's time to welcome back in Corey to play Riddle the Radio.
All right, guys, today's question comes to us from Conrad Golovac. Former Canuck Bo Horvat scored 201 goals with Vancouver. What other 3 one-time Islanders scored at least 100 goals with the Canucks?
Okay, I got 2 right away.
I got 1 off the top. Okay, you got 2.
Okay.
And I'm sure the third will come to be.
So 3 former
Islanders have scored 100 goals with the Canucks.
With the Canucks, okay. I got the 1 right off the bat. I have to think about I got
2
the 1
short-lived 90s guys.
Yeah, okay.
Now I'm trying to think of guys in like the Roberto Luongo is coming to mind.
Yeah.
There's a few others. I don't think he'll be on the goal list.
He will not be, no.
All right, great question, and Corey will be back with the answer to start the third as we're ready to start the second. Again, the story in the first was Thatcher Demko in goal for Vancouver. 3 incredible saves, 2 on Bo Horvat and 1 on Anthony Duclair. So ready to go in period 2. Islanders in the home blue. They're trimmed in orange and white. They'll go right to left this period. Ilya Sorokin in the crease to our right. Canucks in the visiting white. They are trimmed in blue and green. They go left to right with Demko atop the paint to our left. And that's where the puck goes after the Islanders win the faceoff. Right wing corner, Vancouver and Duclair. Right point for D'Angelo to Duduc on the half-board's right side. He puts it for Lee, who got tangled up with Roenick, but it came to Pajot behind the net. Skates it to the left half-boards. Now to D'Angelo at left point. The wrist shot off the chest of Demko, and he covered it with his trapper before Lee could knock it by him. We get our first whistle 23 seconds into the middle stanza.
In that first period, the Islanders had those 10 shots on goal. The 2 players with multiple shots, both with 2 each, were Bo Horvat and Tony D'Angelo. The 2 Horvat chances, of course, were both point-blank opportunities that were stopped by Thatcher Demko. 2 of his 3 best saves in that opening period, with the other being the Anthony Duclair chance from the slot. Good to see Simon Holmstrom out there for his first shift of the second period. He blocked a shot late in the first, seemingly with his hand or wrist, and was shaking that off as he went to the dressing room.
Boy, we just got to look at that replay, Greg. And Anders Lee had Roenick's stick up in his face. It was tugging at his face and his neck, and no high stick was called. So Anders had a little discussion with the referee after, and then just went to the New York bench shaking his head. So again, we were penalty-free in the opening period, and Roenick got away with a high stick on the Islander captain. Anders comes in tonight sitting on 286 career goals. With his next goal, he'll tie Pat LaFontaine and Brent Sutter for 6th all-time in franchise history. Canucks bring it to Islander ice. A weak wrister from Bluger above the left circle, an easy stick save by Sorokin. Then the Islanders send it all the way down on the fresh ice, and it just misses wide right. It is icing against New York. So again, no score, opening minute of period 2.
That was Noah Dobson. Just got too much on that puck on the clearing attempt, so it carries over the goal line, and it'll be an icing to Ilya Sorokin's right for the upcoming faceoff. The Islanders do have points in 6 straight overall, 3-0-3, and points in 7 straight home games coming into tonight, 4-0-3.
And again, the home ice run, Greg, has gone to 10-2-3 in the last 15, so points in 13 of the last 15 home games. And tonight, again, does end a 4-game homestand. After tonight, Islanders will have 11 games to go, 5 here and 6 on the road. Here, a quick break for Carlson in through the right circle. Shoots, and he missed it wide right. Held in down the left wing wall by O'Connor. Moved it in front for Garland. He couldn't get it on net. Myers' shot painfully blocked by Hudson Fasching in Islander ice, and now he does skate free to center. We'll keep an eye. He does head off to the bench, though, so we'll keep our eye on Fasching with a good shot block, but paid the price for it. Here it's Carlson carrying it, again, deep into Islander ice. He is the 4th-line right wing, Linus Karlsson, the 25-year-old out of Sweden, the former Sharks draft pick, playing against the Islanders for the first time ever, as is Elias Pettersson, their young defenseman, facing New York for the first time ever here tonight. Puck out of play here, so choppy start to the second, still scoreless, less than 2 minutes in.
And the other Pettersson in the lineup tonight, Marcus Pettersson, so much time with the Pittsburgh Penguins, so the Islanders have seen a lot of him over the years, and that includes 2 playoff series in 2019 when he was acquired during the midst of that season from the Anaheim Ducks, and then in 2021, of course, total of 442 games with the Penguins, and in the playoffs with the Penguins, he would have played in a total of 21, and again, more than half of those would have been against the Islanders.
Well, again, he has Played 20 games for Vancouver this year, coming over in that trade February 1st. 6 assists, but no goals yet. So still looking for his first goal as a Canuck is Marcus Pettersson. As Joshua starts in his own end, far side for Vancouver, worked it out to center, but they turn it over. Kyle McLean to Siplikov at the red line under the big scoreboard, and then over the New York logo, bounced it in on Demko, who went down to his knees to make the stop. Canucks come up the near side, trying to get out of their own end. Then Sherwood, met at the line by Mike Riley, did muscle it to center. And then it's chipped into the left wing corner of Islander ice. Atu Ratu gives chase, bangs into Ryan Pulock and takes the puck away. Whips it around near corner. Kyle McLean first on it there. But the Canucks hold it in. Roenick at right point, down the slot now for the shot by Hughes. Deflected, they score. I think it was DeBrusk in the high slot who got a piece, but Vancouver has the 1-0 lead. 2 minutes and 39 seconds into period 2. It looks like Kiefer Sherwood, though, is leading the conga line down the bench. So it might be his 16th of the year. What a season he's having.
Yeah, that's Quinn Hughes being Quinn Hughes there as the Canucks do take possession back from the Islanders as Ryan Pulock hit behind the net. Work it out to right point. Philip Roenick going D-to-D for Quinn Hughes, and Max Siplikov loses Hughes. You can't do that. Can't leave Quinn all by himself as he is able to look for the stick of Sherwood in the slot, and he deflects a low pass up high by the blocker and right shoulder of Ilya Sorokin. And Kyle McLean was not all that far away from Phil Pronik at right point, so Siplikov, again, just goes to the puck carrier, and he should have had his eyes more on Quinn Hughes.
So again, it will be Sherwood's goal. Again, 16 on the year. A career high for Kiefer to go along with those 400 hits. Again, an all-time NHL record for most hits in a season. And for Quinn Hughes, assist number 52 on the season, point number 68. As he came in second in assists, third in points among all defensemen. Does have 16 goals as well, tied for fourth among all blue liners there. Here's Quinn Hughes again, racing at right wing over the Islander line. Tried to center it, broken up by Anders Lee, kept alive by O'Connor. They work at left circle now for the sharp angle shot off the chest of Sorokin from Besser's stick, and then Ilya will cover. 1-0 Vancouver on the Sherwood goal, 2:37 into period 2.
And for Sherwood, his 16th of the season, it'll be Quinn Hughes picking up the primary assist, and for Quinn, that's his 52nd assist of the year, 68th point overall. Roenick will get the secondary helper. 24 assists on the season, 28 points as he has just 4 goals.
So Vancouver strikes first in the game in British Columbia on November 14th. Vancouver had the 1-0 lead, and then the Islanders scored the next 5 straight goals before Vancouver got a late one in a 5-2 New York victory.
That was Jonathan Lecker-Mackey in the first 3 minutes of the game, scoring his first career goal in just his second NHL contest, as the Islanders are guilty of icing here. Lecker-Mackey now playing second line right wing for the Canucks with Teddy Bluger and Connor Garland.
Yeah, the 5 Islander goals after Lecker-Mackey's first in the NHL in Vancouver were Pajot on the power play, then Mayfield, then Engvall, then Lee, then Dobson, and finally Myers scored a late one for Vancouver to make the final 5-2 in favor of New York.
And in the assist category, it was Bo Horvat and Grant Hutton who each had 2 assists in that game.
Here a center point blast by Marcus Pettersson, missed the net, rebound right in front of the Islander cage, but New York able to get it to the neutral zone here as Simon Holmstrom knocked it away. Teddy Bluger picked it up, dropped it back into his own end for Tyler Myers. Myers moves it ahead in off the stick of Bluger behind the New York net. Ilya Sorokin will tee it up there for Noah Dobson, and he goes up the middle for Simon Holmstrom. Left it for Adam Pelech. Nice little pass connecting in the neutral zone with Horvat. And now speed through the right circle for Noah Dobson. Sharp angle try. Demko the save. Rebound to Horvat on the right half boards, but Vancouver picks it away and comes away in transition. Here's Connor Garland over the Islander line, rolling it in on Sorokin, who taps it for Pelech on the far side. He can't get it through the traffic. Garland centered it in front of the New York net, but cleaned up nicely by Bo Horvat. So 1-0 Vancouver. Islanders trying to break it out here, work it out to center, which knocked down by the Canucks, but Palmieri tried to backhand it in down the left wing wall for Horvat. He's got a man open in front of the net. That was Engvall and just couldn't get it to Pierre. But we got a penalty coming up against the Islanders. So there goes Demko to the Vancouver bench. Canucks are offside. And at 4:35 of the second period, first power play of the game for either team. This one will go to Vancouver. Let's get the call.
New York penalty number 14, 2 minutes for tripping.
So they got Horvat on the trip. Our first look at a Canucks power play that's middle of the pack in the NHL, 15th at 22.1%. Islanders still the worst kill, third worst kill in the NHL at 72.1%.
That was along a board battle near side wall when Forbert goes down Bo Horvat was looking for the puck, but instead gets his stick right to the skates of Forbert, the defenseman, down to the ice. And the Canucks to the power play as they've taken a 1-0 lead here in the second period, looking to add to it.
And they were 0 for 1 in the loss to the Islanders in Vancouver on their power play November 14th. They were 0 for 2 Monday night in New Jersey and have not had a power play goal on the trip yet. 3 games into the road trip, 0 for 6 on the man advantage as the Islanders win the faceoff and get the clear. So Quinn Hughes, the guy to watch, 25 power play points. He leads Vancouver there, and Jake DeBrusk leads him in power play goals with 11. Here, a quick pass in front for the Canucks, cut off by Sorokin, and then does the snow angel, Ilya, laying on his back in the crease to get the whistle. So Vancouver getting it to the net, 20 seconds into their first power play, trying to add to this 1-0 lead, just shy of 5 minutes into the middle frame.
Sorokin forced to make a save there, but I think it's off the stick of his own defenseman, Alex Romanov, trying to cut off the centering feed. Brock Besser was alone back door. Romanov makes sure puck doesn't get to him. Instead, it's a backhander essentially from Romanov that Sorokin has to deal with, and he keeps it out. Still 1-0 Vancouver.
Islanders win the face-off, and Romanov whips it around near side, 200 feet in the other direction. So Thatcher Demko will cut it off there. Islanders on their kill were a perfect 1-for-1 Monday against the Blue Jackets here, and they have gone 3 for 3 over the last 2 games, 10 for 11 on the kill in the last 4 contests. So they've improved it a little bit of late, and again, it bumped it up off worst in the league to now just 3rd worst in the National Hockey League. Islanders get it in the left wing corner of their own end. Canucks send it in deep. Overload, they have the extra man, and Hughes holds it in at left point. Gave it away at center point, though, and now Pajot breaking the other way through center. JG tries to pass it for Zizekas, walks in, shoots, he scores! A seeker shorty on a beautiful setup from Pajot, and Casey has tied this game at 1.
Oh, a mistake from Quinn Hughes at center point, giving away that puck directly to J.G. Pajot, and then he has to push it forward to try to get beyond not Quinn Hughes, but the 2 other Canucks that were within the vicinity, and is able to do so on the near side. Zizekas goes back down the ice on the far side. Pajot, perfect backhander to Casey. He's coming right to left and is able to chip a forehander over the left shoulder of Thatcher Demko. And Casey has his 10th career short-handed goal, first since the 2022-23 season.
So 6th overall, first this year for Zeker, who snaps an 11-game drought without a goal. So his first red light in 12 games, ties this game at 1, and a little payback for the Islanders. Now another turnover. Palmieri in the high slot, fakes the shot, right circle, fires off the crossbar. Oh, Palmieri hits the crossbar, bidding for a second short-handed goal on the same penalty to Bo Horvat. Unbelievable. So Vancouver still on this power play for another 30 seconds, but if it continues like this, Rick Tocchet, their head coach, may decline the next penalty against the New York Islanders. Here Sherwood misses on a right circle shot in Islander ice that caroms all the way back to the Vancouver end. So Zizekas is 6th, Pajot the assist at 5:35, and we are now tied at 1. Garland carries it over the Islander line, bottom of the right circle, banks it off the end boards, connects now with Carlson on the left half boards to Garland left corner, winds it around right point now for Tyler Myers with 5 seconds to go in Horvat's minor. He goes again to Garland at the left dot, fires, he missed the net, and unable to hold it in was Roenick. Horvat grabs it right out of the box on cue. Bo, left wing over the Vancouver line, pulls up, takes a look, and then does pass it to Pellick, who is back at center, and the Islanders will reset in their own end.
Horvat didn't really have any help with him as the Islanders were changing off the end of the penalty kill.
Here Romanov turnover to Sherwood at the Islander line, and now it's Bluger through the right circle trying to go back to Sherwood, but a good job by Romy to break that up and recover after his turnover. Anthony Duclair got it ahead quickly for J.G. Pajot. Left wing over the red, he's going to play chip and chase in the near corner, but beaten to it there by Forbert, who worked it up the near boards and gave it away at center for Alex Romanov. As this big Wednesday night crowd chants, "Let's go Islanders," New York has tied it at 1 on a shorty from Casey Zizekas. Here's Pajot down the middle over the Islander logo over the Vancouver line to Duclair, who shoots from the left circle. A left pad save Demko. He covers the rebound, and then after the whistle, Pajot was decked from behind, and now the Islanders take exception of that with Anders Lee getting in there along with a teammate in Kyle Palmieri. And we'll see if any penalty is going to come here, Greg, but the whistle had blown, and J.G. Pajot was flat out decked from behind on a hit he never saw coming.
And there's an Islander on top of the Canuck that pushed down Pajot. And now getting back to his skates is Marcus Pettersson. So we will sort this one out when we come back.
All right, 12:32 to go in the second. It's now a 1-all game tonight here on the Island. You're listening to New York Islanders hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
New York Islanders hockey is underwritten by the NHL on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
This live game broadcast of New York Islanders hockey is produced and distributed by WRHU Radio, Hofstra University.
McDonald's supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU Radio, Hofstra University.
This is Anthony Duclair, and you're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
Well, Monday night here, a tough goaltender interference call against Kyle Palmieri cost the Islanders a regulation win over the Columbus Blue Jackets. This morning, Patrick Roy was asked how they could put it behind them.
My speech was pretty easy. The hockey gods took care of last night, isn't it? Everybody lost. So, I mean, come on. You're coming at the rink, and you're like, wow, okay, we got a break. Let's focus on our game. So that's the easiest speech you can have, because, I mean, we have to focus on what we need to be done, and we can't worry about what happened. We said what we had to say. We defended what we thought it was. Now let's move on and let's be ready for tonight's game.
That is Patrick Roy, who came out with a quote of the night, Greg, after the game in the post-game interview. He said, if Toronto is afraid to overturn calls by their officials, we don't need Toronto.
Well, Toronto is where the situation room is in the National Hockey League, so whenever the officials on the ice go to a video review, they get the headset on, they have the tablet out, and they are speaking it over with the situation room in Toronto, which I believe is on the top floor of Scotiabank Arena, if I'm not mistaken, the home of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So sometimes, if it's a game involving the Leafs on home ice, they're just calling upstairs.
Yeah, not too bad at all, and I've had a chance to visit that situation room. It is quite impressive, and I know they've revamped
How many TVs?
Yeah, there was probably 20 there when I was there. I think they've more than doubled that now, though. Yeah, it's quite a thing just to see it in operation, and I happened to go on a busy night, so it was great to see. I think there were 12 games going on at the time. It really was a lot of fun, and they do welcome, again, all media members to come and see it if you're in Toronto. Well, again, the coincidental minors go to Marcus Pettersson and Anthony Duclair, both for roughing after, again, the initial penalty that dumped J.G. Pajot was missed, and now the Canucks try a home run pass here to send it to Brusque on a breakaway that misses, but he wins the foot race and, again, negates the icing as we open it up for 4-on-4 hockey in a 1-1 game coming up on 8 minutes into the second period. Canucks with it in Islander ice. Here's where Quinn Hughes is extra dangerous, fired it on net. Sorokin made the save. I think Ilya thought the rebound was up at his equipment, but it wasn't, and it dropped down. The Islanders just content to get the icing to get it out of there. So 11:58 to go in the second, 1-1 the score. We've got 1:26 remaining in this 4-on-4 skating situation.
You're right on it. Ilya Sorokin had his arm pinned to his chest, thinking that the puck was in his grasp, but it wasn't. It was sitting down there to his left, but thankfully for him and the Islanders, it was along the goal line, so it would have been a tough angle for the Canucks to just pop it home as the Islanders do get the clear. Pelech sends it up the near side boards. Face off to Sorokin's left. Besser against Horvat.
So linesman setting both centers down, and Horvat cleanly wins it back behind his net, but Pelech had it rolled away. Held in by Garland on the left half boards. Connor Garland, I saw him in warm-up stretching out next to Tony DeAngelo. They both played together when they were in the Coyotes organization, not with Arizona, but 1 year at AHL Tucson. So they were Tucson Roadrunners, and they were chatting during their stretch at center ice where, again, Connor Garland and Tony DeAngelo. Here's Pelech behind the Vancouver net. The big defenseman down low in the right corner to Cizikas, left, or rather right of the net, but it rolled off Casey's stick. Picks it back up now left corner. Cizikas drops it off for DeAngelo left point. Tony D to Cizikas, top of the right circle, fires, and through the Anders Lee screen. Demko got a piece. Held in again. Cizikas now through the left circle. Kicks it out. Center point for D'Angelo. Loads the gun. Doesn't shoot. Tony D still at center point. 60 feet on from the net. Straight out. Goes top of the right circle and connects. Now they work it to Engvall in the high slot. He lets it rip. Good save. Demko again through the screen of Cizikas. Rebound. They score! Tony D! D'Angelo has given the Islanders the 2-1 lead with a huge goal 9 minutes into period 2.
Oh, the Islanders had so many chances, 5-on-5 in the opening period, could not convert, and now they have a shorthanded goal and a 4-on-4 goal. Pierre Engvall from the high slot throws it through a screen of Cizikas. Not even sure if that one got to Demko, but the Islanders fight for that loose puck in front of that. D'Angelo, a defenseman, is down low, bottom of the right circle. Because it's 4-on-4, he can play a little bit of no position type of hockey. He's able to collect that loose puck as Hronek and Cizikas are fighting for it. D'Angelo says, thank you very much, I'll take it myself. Demko can't move to his left quickly enough, and D'Angelo's third goal as an Islander gives New York its first lead of the night. It's 2-1.
Well, again, his first in 8 games, but he continues to pile up the points. Now 15 points in his 24 games as an Islander. He's got the most points of any Islander defenseman since he arrived.
And he's got a 4-game point streak now with a goal and 4 assists.
Yeah, 6 assists in his last 5 games coming in. Now a break 2-on-1 for the Islanders. Palmieri, right wing over the line with Holmstrom. Goes to Homer, left of the net, but it was too deep below the goal line when he caught it, and he couldn't lift it over the fallen Demko, who was on his belly.
2 Canucks fell down in the neutral zone, and that allowed the Islanders to go on that 2-on-1 rush the other direction. Back to 5-on-5 hockey.
So Marcus Pettersson and Anthony Duclair out of the boxes, and we return to 5-a-side hockey. Islanders have their first lead. Looking for more. Pulock, a rocket, top of the right circle, missed the net over the crossbar, and carried out to the Canucks at center, trying to turn it into a 3-on-2, and it was offside at the New York line. 10:04 to go in the second. It's now the New York Islanders 2 and the Vancouver Canucks 1.
So officially D'Angelo's third of the season from Casey Cizikas and Pierre Engvall at 8:58 of the second period. A 4-on-4 goal for New York. And the Canucks opened up the scoring early this period with a 5-on-5 goal. The Islanders have scored shorthanded since and at 4-on-4. And that is just the second goal all season the Islanders have scored at 4-on-4. They have not allowed any this year.
So again, big night for Cizikas already, as he's got his third 2-point game of the season with a goal and an assist here in the middle stanza. So the Canucks win the center ice faceoff. Marcus Pettersson puts it behind the Islander net. Grabbed there by Noah Dobson, whips it around far side, connects with Pelech. Bounce pass off the boards for Gatcomb, and he sends McLean right wing over the Vancouver line. Kyle pulls up, takes a look, feathers it through the circle for Siplikov in the right wing corner. Sippy, now top of the right circle, tried to go left of the net for McLean, broken up by the Canucks. So Islanders really been taking it to Vancouver, and they've had several odd man rushes in a row as they really have gotten their legs going here in the second period. Gatcomb in his own end in front of the Vancouver bench, moves it to Dobson over the Vancouver line to Siplikov, left circle. Sippy to Dobson, put it through the crease, but nobody there as it went near side and out the far. Vancouver grabs it, skates it through center. Besser chips it left wing corner Islanders zone, and on it behind his own net is the Duke, Anthony Duclair.
By the way, the only other 4-on-4 goal the Islanders scored this season, January 30th in Philadelphia. Kyle Palmieri in a 3-0 win.
Here's Pajot through the left circle in Vancouver ice. Kicks it back, left point Romanov, right point D'Angelo. High slot for Pajot, spins and shoots, and blocked out high by Garland. Kept in by the Islanders. D'Angelo fires right point, a stick save Demko. Far side puck loose. J.G. Pajot wins the foot race to it. Chops it for Tony D at right point. Plays it toward the net. Battle in front as Duclair was locked up with Hronek. Islanders, Romanov from the left corner centered, broken up by the Canucks, and they're trying to turn it into a 2-on-1 here. Garland left wing over the Islander line. He's got Hughes with him. Does the spinorama, put a backhand on net, and a terrific save in the belly for Ilya Sorokin. We'll take a timeout. 8:34 to go in the second now at UBS Arena. Isles on top of the Canucks, 2-1. You're listening to New York Islanders hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
Coyote Promotions supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU.
When the Islanders are on the ice, we're on the air. The New York Islanders Radio Network.
The numbers
are in. Once again, WRHU is New York's number one non-commercial radio station. Thank you, New York, for your support.
88.7 WRHU, Radio Hofstra University.
New York Islander game broadcasts are supported in part by MSG Plus, and MSG.com. This is Anders Lee, and you're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
Well, UBS Arena was built for hockey, but made for music. And this coming Friday night at 9 o'clock, it's the inaugural World A Vibes, the Wave Music Fest featuring Spice, Valiant, Skeng, and Kraft. And if you're a comedy fan, we've got you covered with that, too, this coming Saturday night at 8 o'clock as Cat Williams brings his Heaven on Earth tour here to UBS Arena. Again, tonight for the Islanders ends a 4-game homestand. They'll close out March on a 2-game road trip in Tampa and Raleigh, North Carolina. But starting Tuesday, a 3-game homestand as they'll welcome in the Tampa Bay Lightning Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. For details and tickets on all of these events, go to ubsarena.com.
Well, we heard in that last break talking about Patrick Roy, the hockey gods benefiting the Islanders last night, getting so many good out-of-town results. Montreal losing in St. Louis. But the Blues, the hottest team in the league, 7 straight wins now. Tomorrow, Montreal will be playing against the Flyers in Philadelphia. Flyers maybe the coldest team in the NHL. Yes. They only have 1 win in their last 12 games, and that was a shootout win. Since then, or including that game, 1-10-1.
Wow.
So the Islanders are really going to need the hockey gods on their side tomorrow night.
And again, Montreal also plays Friday night, Greg, in Carolina. And the Hurricanes are always a tough game, but Carolina is basically locked into the second spot in the Metro. They're not going to catch Washington for the top spot. I don't think they're going to get caught from behind by either the Devils or, again, the Islanders or Rangers or one of those teams. So Carolina is kind of locked in a spot, too, I think, in the Metro. So we'll see how Montreal does, but Islander fans will be in that unusual spot of rooting for the Flyers big time tomorrow night as Cizikas here with a goal and an assist, shoots from the left wing corner, and Demko makes the glove save. And after tonight, they'll be rooting big time for the Canucks because their next game on this road trip is Friday night in Columbus.
Well, talking about the Hurricanes, though, stuck in that number 2 spot. I think that's one of the flaws in this playoff format.
Yep.
So many fans say, hey, let's go back to 1 versus 8 rather than the divisional playoffs and 2 wild cards. And the Hurricanes just don't, like you said, don't have much to play for, but they still have 8 wins in their last 10 games. But they're 9 points ahead of New Jersey and 13 back of Washington with just 11 games to go in the season. So they are, again, pretty much locked into number 2. And finally, the Atlantic Division does not have a 2-3 matchup locked in, which seemed to always be the case over the last half-decade plus because Toronto, Florida, and Tampa are all within 2 points of each other.
Yeah, Toronto and Florida tied. The Bolts 2 points back. And, again, the Islanders will be in Tampa for a matinee on Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. The Lightning host Utah tomorrow night. Here's Horvath through the left circle in Vancouver ice. Oh, he had a man open back door. Didn't connect with Palmieri, who was then dumped into the Vancouver net. No penalty call, but Palms calmly gets up, skates back to center. Mike Riley drags it in right side, shoots from there, and a glove save, Demko. And it's still 2-1 Islanders, 7:40 to go in period 2.
Kyle Palmieri, I don't think he was cross-checked in, so puck was in the vicinity. I don't think that was a missed call or anything like that. We'll get another look in our booth. Yeah, puck was right there. Tyler Myers was the one who knocked him in. And if Palms was the puck, that would have been a goal, but
Yes.
that is not the case. And it remains 2-1 Islanders with 7:40 to go in the second period.
Yeah, Tyler Myers actually did a good job of tying up his stick to prevent him from deflecting that backdoor slam dunk home. Here, Dobson misses on a wrist shot. Straight on 50 feet out, wide right off the back glass. Anders Lee cleans it up. The captain behind the net for Pajot. He's worked over by Roenick. Duclair in there too. The net almost pushed on top of Demko by Duclair, but then the pass misses, goes all the way down here. Ilya Sorokin can't play it. It's outside his trapezoid. So he watches Noah Dobson go to it as he directs with his glove what he wants Noah to do with it, and that's reverse it to the far side. Connects there with Anthony Duclair. His cross-ice pass hit a skate, came to Pelech. Good break for the Islanders, but Besser still trying to steal it, and then Pelech turned it over going up the far wall. Besser behind the New York net. Skates to the right wing corner, banks it off the near boards. Hronik's right point shot way wide left, and then Anders Lee tried to chop it out, gave it away to O'Connor. Bluger behind the New York net to O'Connor, left of the paint, sharp angle shot, but Sorokin sealed off that far post. Under 7 minutes to go in the second. Islanders protecting a 2-1 lead. Canucks turn it over. Here's Anders Lee creating a 2-on-1. Right wing over the Canuck line. He's got Duclair with him. The captain on the backhand, and what a glove save. Thatcher Demko robbing Lee of a goal that keeps it 2-1 New York with 6:35 to go in the second.
I think that was the best 5-on-5 shift that the Canucks have had since they scored 2:39 into this period. So we're talking about 12 minutes ago. And then it ends abruptly with Forbort giving away the puck. Pass off the far side boards. He's the defenseman. He's got nobody in his vicinity. And so Anders Lee just takes it away and didn't really have a passing lane to Duclair as Elias Pettersson took that away. So that's why Lee had to take the shot himself, but he was already committed with the puck on the backhand, probably thinking pass at first, and just didn't have any options in the end except shoot on the backhand.
Well, Canucks win the face-off. Dakota Joshua between his legs for Ratu. Right wing over the Islander line. He goes to the goal line, sidesteps the D'Angelo hit as Tony D racked himself into the wall instead. Vancouver comes away with the luggage, though. They kick it out center point for Marcus Pettersson's shot. Blocker saves Sorokin, rebound loose, and it's below the goal line to Sherwood in the left wing corner. Keeper Sherwood skates it out high. He's got the only Vancouver goal tonight. Pettersson's right point shot deflected in front, and they score. Ratu, the former Islander, puts it home from the left of the crease, and he has tied this game at 2 for Vancouver.
Third goal of the season for Ratu, and that's 2 goals tonight for the Canucks. Fourth line. Sherwood had the first, Ratu has the second, and both were deflections on really shot passes by defensemen. As the Islanders got away with a scrambling moment in front of the net, Sherwood comes away with it. He goes out high with it, and a one-time blast that is deflected home by Ratu. And, well, a game of inches because on the last shift, it was Anders Lee. Getting a little bit of a delay here. Patrick Waugh want to talk to the referees and have a conversation. I don't see any type of goaltender interference or anything like that.
Well, he's buying some time for some reason, Greg.
I think we're going to get some sort of challenge here. Or not. The referee now going to the Canucks bench and
Rick Tocchet
saying,
wants to know what's going on.
Let's line up for the faceoff. Okay, no challenge. The Islanders do send out their group of 5 on the ice.
Again, Ratu played Monday night in New Jersey, his first game since January 31st, and that goal his first since November 27th in Pittsburgh. So what a big goal again in just his second game ever against the Islanders. His first was in Vancouver, BC back on November 14th. Islanders won that one 5-2, but again, Ratu, Beauvillier, and a first-round pick went to the Canucks in that January of 2023 trade for Bo Horvat. So Ratu's third at 13:59 of the second ties this game at 2. Quinn Hughes in his own end, hounded by Hudson Fasching, who seems to be around him all night, forced him into an errant pass that becomes a turnover at center. Engvall floats it for Riley between the penalty boxes. In off the stick now of Fasching, where Demko will play it to Hughes behind his own net. The guy they call Huggy Bear, Quinn Hughes, turned it over down the left wing wall for Mike Riley, who put it behind the net for Hudson Fasching, now right wing corner. On it there is Engvall, worked it in front for Riley, spins, shoots, and he missed the net wide left from the left of the crease.
He was wide open for a moment. The defenseman on the left side of the crease. Puck didn't get to him cleanly, and then off a ricochet does, and the spinorama shot goes upstairs.
Canucks break it out of their own end as their captain, Quinn Hughes, flips it off the window. Near side, got it to the Islander end where Noah Dobson settles it down and connects between the circles for Adam Pelech. He heads north to the red line to Horvat, left wing over the Columbus, or over the Vancouver stripe. And then behind the net, Palmieri finishes his check. Holmstrom joins in as well. Left wing corner now. Quinn Hughes has it for Vancouver and worked it ahead for Carlson, who sends a lead pass to the Islander line. Good intercept by Noah Dobson, but then he flipped it into the Canucks end while Palmieri was still in the O-zone, and so the Islanders tag up to get onside, and now they can get new personnel out there and attack on the forecheck. Hronek in his own end, far side for Quinn Hughes. It seems like number 43 in white rarely comes off the ice, and here Hronek broke his stick in his own end on a pass. Duclair down the middle for Pajot to Duclair, left of the net, cuts in the paint, backhand. Good save, Demko. Oh, Islanders almost turned a broken Canuck stick into a goal. Anders Lee, center point, left circle, Noah Dobson goes center point again for Duclair, but poked out to the neutral zone by the Canucks and then gathered back in. Quinn Hughes on it over the Islander line, 2-on-1, left circle, Carlson shoots, and maybe getting a piece of that was Noah Dobson, deflecting it out of play. We'll take a timeout, 2-2 the score tonight, under 4 minutes remaining in period 2 here at Belmont Park. You're listening to New York Islanders hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
Daily Pay underwrites a part of this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU Radio Hofstra University.
We're on the air. the New York Islanders Radio Network.
New York Islanders hockey is underwritten by the NHL on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
This is Casey Zizekas. You're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
Well, the three words that matter most tonight for New York: win and in. If they win this game in any fashion, they are in a playoff spot with just 11 games remaining in the regular season after tonight. This morning, Hudson Fasching was asked about it.
Yeah. I mean, I know, for a while we've been telling ourselves, hey, we're not out of this, and it's like, all right, we're officially in this now, and it feels good, and we definitely have that momentum, and every game has kind of felt like a playoff game for the last 5-6 games here. And we're just kind of carrying that intensity into tonight.
That is Hudson Fasching.
So the Islanders will be at 71 games played after tonight. Montreal sitting at 70 because they are off tonight. And in the only other game of real any importance towards the Islanders, the Devils on top of the Blackhawks 4-2. Boston, you could say technically still in the race, but they're down to 69 points, 6 points out of a playoff spot. And also, both the Islanders and Canadiens have 2 games in hand. The Bruins are in Anaheim for a late 10 o'clock Eastern start.
So again, believe it or not, the regular season comes to an end 3 weeks from tomorrow night. Yes, it's gotten that deep into the season, and the Islanders would love to put themselves in a playoff spot tonight and then root like crazy the next 2 nights for the Flyers and the Hurricanes, who host Montreal tomorrow and Friday, respectively. Here, Canucks win a right circle draw in Islander ice, but the shot by O'Connor is blocked by Romanov, who then races it out the center and got it into the Vancouver end. Canucks get it back to the Islander line, where it pinballs around between the penalty boxes now, and Romanov lifts the stick of O'Connor to tap it back for Tony DeAngelo. DeAngelo in front of his net between the circles to the far side for Zizekas, who's had a great period, a short-handed goal, and the primary assist on the DeAngelo 4-on-4 tally. Garland, bottom of the right circle, fires. A stick save Sorokin. O'Connor behind the New York net, setting up there. Worked it for Garland in the left wing corner. Kicked it out left point for the drive that changed direction on the way to the goal. Garland still on it behind the Islander net. Shoved hard into the end boards by Tony DeAngelo, again his former Roadrunner teammate at AHL Tucson. And now the Islanders just can't get it out. O'Connor hounds it in the left wing corner. Zizekas throws a body into him. And now they both go down. Ratu on it, left half boards, finds an open Myers, right circle, shoots it, changed direction in front, but ends up wide into the near corner. Ratu on it there. Right half boards, Ratu. Shoved to the ice by Zizekas, pops right back up. Casey couldn't get it out. Myers has it at right point, goes left point now, working it toward the goal line is the Canucks' Marcus Pettersson, but pushing it out the center, Hudson Fasching. So Fasching will go off on a change. Sherwood trying to catch the Islanders, 3-on-2, right wing over the New York line. Takes the shot, good. Blocker saves Sorokin, directing it to the far side. And then Simon Holmstrom softly got it to Vancouver ice, avoiding an icing call.
And the Islanders desperately needed to complete the change. They couldn't get all 5 bodies off the ice. Still, Alex Romanov is out there stuck. It's going to be a probably 90-second shift at this point for him.
Really domination right now for Vancouver, but the Islanders finally get it out to center. And here's Mike Riley jumping in, left side over the red, hammers it around that roulette wheel, near side to far in the Vancouver end. Canucks had a chance to get it out, turned it over. Did Pollock hold the line? No, they say it just came clear at the center, and he brought it in offside. 2:01 to go in period 2. Isles 2, Van 2.
Well, for Ilya Sorokin, 2 goals against that, 18 shots so far. This is now his 20th start in the last 23 games. Did have the 1 contest off this past weekend when Marcus Hogberg got between the pipes. Hogberg, 9 games so far as a New York Islander. Still it's up 2 goals against average, .199 and a .930 save percentage, but we'll see how the Islanders play this weekend because they have the back-to-back Tampa Saturday, Sunday Carolina. A little bit of extra time in between 2 o'clock and then 5 o'clock start. So I got knife side here against the Islanders quickly, as Palmieri disagrees with that.
I think he's saying the Canucks put it in their own end, not the Islanders.
Yeah, that would be his argument, but he's not going to win that argument. Face-off will come out to the neutral zone. So do the 3 extra hours in between games, and you're not flying late at night, getting to a hotel at say 1 o'clock in the morning, as you sometimes frequently are on a back-to-back. Does that mean that it allows the Islanders to go back to Ilya Sorokin on back-to-back should they want to do that Sunday in Carolina, assuming he plays Saturday in Tampa.
And I think what they'll do, Greg, is watch what happens Saturday in Tampa. Does he have a heavy workload? Does he have an easy game? And then certainly factor that into the equation as the Islanders again play the two teams that the last 6 years that they've made the playoffs have gone out 3 times to Carolina, 3 times to Tampa. So a good road trip for the Islanders. 2 tough tests against teams that have been their kryptonite in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The last 6 straight times the Islanders have made the postseason. Here's Siplikov, gets the red, left side, lobs it in left wing corner. Quinn Hughes on it behind the Vancouver net. Tapped it off the end boards and then picked it up himself after the Islander forechecker peeled off. And now the Islanders dropping into that 1-2-2 trap here as Quinn Hughes gets a good look from his goal line and slows things down. So the captain of the Canucks with the puck. Again, he replaced Bo Horvat, who was the captain the final 4 years in Vancouver before he came to the Islanders in that trade. Final minute of the second, 2-2 the score. Canucks scored the first and last goals of this period. Islanders had the 2 in the middle. Quinn Hughes at his own blue line. Right wing over the Islanders stripe for DeBrusk. He's going to play chip and chase in the near corner. It rolled away from him. Besser out to left point now in the skates of Hronek. Plays it down to the half boards for DeBrusk. Slapped it left wing corner for Pius Suter with 40 seconds to go in the period, but intercepted by Pajot. Near side for Pelech off the wall. Back to the Vancouver line. Tyler Myers spins off the pressure there. Flips it ahead. Nice cross-ice feed. Connects now with DeBrusk over the Islander line through the left circle. Quick shot. They score! Defenseman Derek Forbort jumped in and fired it home. Forbort has put Vancouver back on top. 3-2 Canucks with 22.9 seconds to go in period 2.
Yeah, that's the only one of the 3 that's gotten by Ilya Sorokin he would like to have back as the Canucks just on a rush, but it didn't feel like a high-danger situation. Forbort maybe recognizing not that much time in the period, steps up, but he's the only player from the top of the circles in, receives the pass from DeBrusk at left point. The shot goes underneath the left arm of Sorokin and above that left pad. It doesn't deflect off Adam Pelech's stick, who's trying to negate the shot, but Forbort gets the goal. And with his second of the season, this is his 46th game this year, second of the season, the Canucks have retaken lead in a seesaw battle.
Yeah, not known for his goal scoring whatsoever is Derek Forbort, but comes up with a huge one there. And now the Islanders trying to get even before intermission. Engvall through the right circle to the net, and then his stick was lifted at the last second. He never got the shot off. Bluger hoisted out the center with 5 seconds to go. Canucks here on a delayed offside at the Islander line. Tag up, but the horn will sound. Ending period 2 tonight here at UBS Arena with our score now, the Vancouver Canucks 3, the New York Islanders 2.
We had no goals in the first. The Islanders are outscored 3-0 at 5-on-5 in that second period. Outscore the Canucks in all other situations. Casey Cizikas scores shorthanded, his 6th of the year. Tony DeAngelo scores in 4-on-4. Cizikas with an assist on that goal, so a 2-point period for him. Pajot helps set up the Cizikas shorty, and Pierre Engvall gets the secondary assist on the DeAngelo 4-on-4 goal. That made it 2-1 Islanders after Kiefer Sherwood opened the scoring for the Canucks early in the period. Atu Ratu and Derek Forbort also score for Vancouver.
So again, Islanders down a goal as we head downstairs and talk with defenseman Tony DeAngelo. Tony, your thoughts on that second period?
That started off good. We get both goals. I missed my guy on that second goal. They're tired there, so that one's on me. Hopefully I can get it back for us.
Well, you did score on the 4-on-4 situation. Just what do you love about the open ice at 4-on-4?
Yeah, we made a good play. Zeker got to the net after the shot from Menke, kind of battles it loose, and I was there to clean it up. But like I said, give it right back, so that's kind of unacceptable. But hopefully we could come back, tie this game.
What's the key to try to contain Quinn Hughes, who seemingly never leaves the ice?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, he's probably the most dynamic offensive guy in the league by, I wouldn't say a long shot, but pretty close to it. He's every time he gets the puck, he's willing to do something and take guys on, and more often than not, he's beating them. So I think our guys have done a pretty good job on him so far. But you see what happens when he gets open space.
Yep.
Makes a perfect play for a tip. So we just got to keep containing him.
All right, Tony, thanks for joining us. Best of luck in the third.
Thanks, guys.
Again, that is Islander defenseman Tony DeAngelo. New York trails Vancouver 3-2 after 40 minutes of play tonight here at UBS Arena. We'll take a quick timeout, and when we return, Greg and Corey, the Talking House podcast guys, they'll break down the middle stanza. It's next. You're listening to New York Islanders hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
McDonald's supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU, Radio Hofstra University.
This is WRHU FM Hempstead, the radio home for your New York Islanders, Radio Hofstra University, WRHU Hempstead.
Get closer to the pride when you step inside WRHU's The Locker Room. Whether it's at
Captains underwritten in part by UBS Arena. More information about underwritten in part by UBS Arena. More information about UBS Arena is available at NewYorkIslanders.com/Belmont. You're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network. Find more information about the New York Islanders at NY Islanders across platforms X, Instagram, TikTok, and New York Islanders on Facebook.
Daily Pay underwrites a part of this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU Radio Hofstra University.
New York Islanders hockey is underwritten by the NHL on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Acrisure underwrites a part of this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU Radio Hofstra University.
When the Islanders are on the ice, we're on the air. The New York Islanders Radio Network.
Coyote Promotions supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU.
Long Island's largest radio news team brings you the Associated Press award-winning program Newsline. Weekdays at 5:30 p.m. exclusively on WRHU FM and WRHU.org Radio Hofstra University.
This is Bo Horvat, and you're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
We welcome back to the Stan Fischler press level at UBS Arena. Greg Picker here alongside Corey Wright. After 2 periods of action, the Vancouver Canucks have a 3-2 lead over the New York Islanders. We did not have any goals in that first period. In the second, Kiefer Sherwood scores just 2:39 in. Casey Cizikas answers shorthanded. Just under 3 minutes later, Zeker's 6th goal overall of the season. J.G. Pajot, the only assist on that tally. Tony DeAngelo's then scores at 4-on-4. DeAngelo's 3rd of the year from Casey Cizikas and Pierre Engvall. So a 2-point period for Cizikas. It's his 3rd 2-point game of the season. Gave the Islanders a 2-1 lead, but Aatu Räty, the former New York Islander, scores his 3rd of the year, tie things up with 6:01 to go in the frame. And then Derek Forbort, the defenseman, with his 2nd goal of the year with just 23 seconds left, has given the Canucks their 2nd lead of the game. It is 3-2 going into the 3rd.
And quite the eventful period. Obviously, a lot of goals, 5 combined goals between the clubs. The Islanders scoring both of their goals not at 5-on-5. Of course, the shorthanded goal and the 4-on-4 goal. But, Greg, one thing that I think Patrick Roy is going to want his team to do is clear the front of the net, because if you look at the Canucks' 1st and 2nd goals, I mean, Kiefer Sherwood had all sorts of time and space alone in front of Ilya Sorokin to tip that Quinn Hughes shot. Got to think that you do not want to see that kind of lack of just attention to a player in front of the net in general. And then, of course, Aatu Räty with another deflection at the side of the net. So I got to think if you are the Islanders, you want to work on clearing that net front. And, you know, there's been a couple of really big momentum swings in this game. You think about after that Casey Cizikas goal, Kyle Palmieri puts one off the crossbar almost immediately after. So you have seen the Islanders get their legs really at certain types of this game. But obviously right now, a bit of a hill to climb. The Canucks are 24-1-6 when leading after 2 periods.
Well, in the last 6 games, the Islanders have points in all 6 of them. 3 wins, no regulation losses, and then 3 defeats beyond 60 minutes. In all 6 of those games, there has been a 3rd period comeback. Now, the team that relinquished the lead didn't necessarily actually lose that game, but all 6 games have seen 3rd period comebacks.
And I would think this game is far from over, just given the quality and quantity of chances in that scoreless first period. Of course, 5 goals in the 2nd period. I would think that with the amount of depth scoring we're seeing here tonight, too, that this one probably has not seen its last goal.
3-2 Canucks after 2 periods of action from UBS Arena. Coming up just a minute away, a look at one of the newest prospects for the New York Islanders, Cal Ritchie. You're listening to New York Islanders Hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
Get closer to the pride when you step inside WRHU's The Locker Room. Whether it's at Captain's Field.
This is Jacob Woznicki.
This is Millie Davis.
Or the MAC.
This is Emma Von Essen.
This is Speedy Claxton.
Or Stewart Stadium.
Hi, this is Lulu Cardello.
Hi, this is head coach Seth Tierney.
Listen for in-depth analysis of all your favorite Hofstra Pride players and teams.
History in Hempstead! The Hofstra Pride are kings of the Coastal Athletic Association!
Fridays from 5 to 6, only on WRHU, Radio Hofstra University.
Coyote Promotions supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU.
This is Ryan Pollock. You're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
And this is Chris King, joined by Greg Picker and Corey Wright back to UBS Arena. Second intermission, and the Vancouver Canucks have a 3-2 lead over the New York Islanders. Well, the Islanders recently dealt away Brock Nelson at the deadline to the Colorado Avalanche, but the player they got back in return has a huge upside. Our Zach Weicker takes a closer look at Cal Ritchie in this feature he calls Ritchie's Riches.
The Islanders' recent acquisition, Cal Ritchie, is the newest name on all Isles fans' radar. The prospect was sent to the Islanders in the Brock Nelson trade, which also saw the Isles acquire Colorado's 2025 first-round draft pick. In 2023, Ritchie was drafted 27th overall by the Avalanche. The youngster shared his reaction and aspirations on draft night.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable, and my heart just dropped when I heard my name, and it's been like a dream come true and something I've been working towards my whole life. And I know the job's not finished, obviously. I need to put in a lot of work and get to be playing in the NHL.
The Canadian has spent the majority of his time this season playing over the border in the OHL. On March 24th, he won the 2025 Oshawa Generals MVP award, accumulating 15 goals and 70 points in 47 games. Ritchie scored his first ever hat-trick for the club this season in a 5-2 victory over the Ottawa 67s.
Off the top of the circle, here's Cal Ritchie, shoots, scores! Hat-trick goal, Cal Ritchie, off the bar and in!
Ritchie has made a wave with his impressive stick handles and dekes. The playmaker's fake forehand to a backhand on a breakaway is a move Islander fans should keep an eye on.
For Oshawa, can win it here. Ritchie moves in, scores! Fake the forehand, goes backhand, and the Generals win this one in a shootout.
Ritchie represented Canada in this year's World Juniors. The 20-year-old received the honor of wearing the A for his country. He played in 5 games where he was able to score on the power play against Latvia.
Ritchie, back around the Baudouin. Feeds that back to Cowan. Back across, Ritchie shot, scores! Cal Ritchie, power play goal, and Canada's back on top.
With the Avalanche, he has played 7 games in the NHL. Unironically, in his 3rd game in the league, a minute and 1 second into the contest, Ritchie bagged his first ever NHL goal against the Islanders.
Manson just off the bench, throws it down deep. Score! Cal Ritchie! Cal Ritchie, his first career National Hockey League goal!
Cal Ritchie's journey is just beginning, and Islander fans have plenty to be excited about as he takes the next steps in his career. Sal Kersey of the OHL, TSN, and Altitude Sports. For the Islanders Radio Network, I'm Zach Weicker.
Now, terrific work, as always, from our Zach Weicker, and congratulations to Cal Ritchie, who just was yesterday named MVP of his team, the Oshawa Generals, in the Ontario Hockey League. Well, tonight on the island, we've played 40 minutes of action. The Vancouver Canucks lead New York 3-2. We'll take a quick timeout, and when we return, we'll bring you an in-game sports update with all the out-of-town scores. We'll check in with Casey Cizikas from outside the New York dressing room. We'll wrap up Riddle the Radio, recap the second, and start the third. You're listening to New York Islanders Hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
This is the New York Islanders Intermission Report.
Live from our WRHU Hofstra studios, I'm Jake Epstein. The NHL slate is as quiet as a cave tonight with only 3 other games around the league. We head down to the Windy City to kick it off. The Devils are on top of the Blackhawks 4-2 after 2. Dawson Mercer had a power play goal with his 2nd goal of the night.
Here's Mercer, has some room, shoots, and scores!
Sound courtesy of TNT. Luke Hughes has recorded his second career 3-assist game in the first. Tyler Bertuzzi put Chi-Town on the board, recording his 5th career 20-goal season. Tonight, Connor Bedard can become the 11th player in NHL history to record 2 60-point seasons as a teenager. Coming up at 10, the Bruins are in Anaheim. Troy Terry can become the 5th different player in Ducks history with 4 straight 20-goal seasons. David Pastrnak can become the 5th player in Bruins history with at least 4 consecutive 35-goal seasons. To the final game on the slate, the Oilers host the Stars at 10. Thomas Harley can become the 4th fastest defenseman in Stars history to record 100 career points. After the game, Bridgeport Islanders lost 4-1 to the Hershey Bears in PA. And from the ice to the hardwood, the Knicks and Nets are both home tonight. The Nets are trailing 95-70 with 10 minutes left in the fourth, and the Knicks are trailing the Clippers 107-91 with 8.5 left in the game. MLB opening day is tomorrow. The Yankees will host the Brewers at 3:05 and will hand the ball to Carlos Rodon. The Mets are on the road in H-Town against the Astros. Former All-Star closer Clay Holmes will toe the slab. First pitch is at 4:10. With your intermission report, I'm Jake Epstein. Your New York Islanders are trailing the Canucks 3-2 after the second. Let's send it back to Chris King and Greg Picker for third period action right after these short messages on the New York Islanders radio network.
Coyote Promotions supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU.
This is WRHU FM Hempstead, the radio home for your New York Islanders, Radio Hofstra University, WRHU Hempstead.
McDonald's supports this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU, Radio Hofstra University.
This live game broadcast of New York Islanders hockey is produced and distributed by WRHU Radio, Hofstra University.
This is Anders Lee, and you're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
And this is Chris King, joined by Greg Picker and Corey Wright back to UBS Arena. Second intermission, and the Vancouver Canucks have a 3-2 lead over the New York Islanders. Between periods, MSG's Shannon Hogan chatted with New York forward Casey Cizikas.
After 2 periods of play, Islanders trailing the Canucks by a goal. Casey Cizikas joins us now. Casey, how would you describe the flow of that second period?
I thought it was good. A couple big kills at the start. I was able to get one on the kill, but we fell asleep at the end there. They're playing for the exact same thing we are over there, and we can't have lapses like that. And now we find ourselves trailing going to the third period, so we're gonna have to find something because these points are big.
I was watching the period with your former line mate, Cal Clutterbuck. He wanted to know when you got the puck for that shorthanded opportunity on your backhand, were you thinking short side the whole time?
Yeah, I was just kind of the way that I thought the goalie would play it. If I caught my backhand, brought forehand, he would slide with me, and I was able to get it far side over the glove. So, I was able to get up quick, which he didn't have time to react. So, but that play by Pager, busting his ass, getting up the ice. He's got 2 guys closing on him. He finds a gap under the stick and makes one hell of a play.
What's the key to the third for your team?
We got to play our game. We got to get pucks in deep. We got to forecheck hard, get pucks to the net, crash, bang, do everything that we need to because, like I said, these are big points.
All right, Casey, thanks so much for your time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
And that is Casey Cizikas. We were scoreless after 1, but Vancouver scored first at 2:37 of the second. Kiefer Sherwood, 16th from Hughes and Aronik, made it 1-0 Canucks. But Casey Cizikas, a short-handed goal at 5:35, his 6th overall from Pajot, tied the game at 1. And then playing 4-on-4 hockey at the 9-minute mark, Tony DeAngelo's third from Cizikas and Engvall made it 2-1 New York. But the Canucks tied it at 13:59 on Atu Ratu's third from Marcus Pettersson and Sherwood. And then Vancouver grabbed the lead at 19:37 on Derek Forbert's second from DeBrusk and Suter. Vancouver outshot New York 13-11 in the second. 2 period totals favor the Isles, 21-18. Canucks have had the only power play of the game. They didn't score, but the Islanders scored on that short-handed. We welcome back in our partner Corey Wright to wrap up Riddle the Radio.
All right, guys. Today's question coming to us from Conrad Golovac. Bo Horvat scored 201 goals with Vancouver. What other 3 one-time Islanders scored at least 100 goals with the Canucks?
Well, I think we both have the same 2, so you want to give one, I'll give you the others. Trevor Linden.
Yep, those are the 2. And
those are 2.
Neither of us could think of the third.
All right, here I know this is wrong, but I'm going to throw it out there because I love the guy and he recently passed away. I'm going with Gino Ojic, who had over 100 penalty minutes.
Yeah. It is not Gino Ojic.
It's
not Gino Ojic.
I know that.
All right, this will be a hint and a half maybe for Greg, but I worked with this player's daughter in Vancouver.
How did you get
daughter at a fish and chip joint in Burnaby, BC, but he was the last remaining one. With the Islanders?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Or with the Canucks?
The Canucks, he had quite
112.
Yeah,
he played there for a long time, part of that 94 team.
And the story when he came to the Islanders was when Alexei Yashin had his arm sliced in 03-04, and Yashin had the lacerated tendon, was going to be out for quite some time, and I think 2 days later, Mike Milbury had Cliff Ronning signed.
The Rat, Cliff Ronning. I loved him. Oh, one of my favorite Islanders. So small in size, but so huge in heart. I can't believe I forgot about him. But great question and great hint, Corey, to let Greg pick it up immediately as we start the third.
I don't think any of the fans listening would have
not with that hint, other than you. So again, third period underway. Islanders with a win will go into a playoff spot at night's end, but they trail 3-2 to start the final period. New York in the home blue, they're trimmed in orange and white. They go left to right this period. Ilya Sorokin in the goal to our left. Vancouver in the visiting white sweaters. Their trim is green and blue. They go right to left with Thatcher Demko manning the net to our right. Again, Islanders have to find a way to win this game, jump over the Montreal Canadiens, and put themselves in a playoff spot for the first time since November 19th. As here, they're going to wave off the icing on New York. The Islanders, again, will get that playoff spot with any type of win. Overtime, shootout, regulation, doesn't matter as long as they end up with 2 points tonight. Canucks turn it into a 2-on-1 over the Islander line, though. Bluger, top of the right circle, tried to go top of the left for Garland, but a nice breakup on the back check in between by Simon Holmstrom. Bluger, though, open left circle, shoots, and he rings it in off the right post. Teddy Bluger, a minute and 5 seconds into the third, makes it 4-2 Canucks.
Just when you think the dangerous situation has come to its conclusion with Holmstrom getting back, Bluger has a little bit of space left dot and a perfectly placed shot there. And I think Ilya Sorokin would want to have that one back, although when you hear it go off the pipe and in, it's tough to place that one any better. Marcus Hogwart's going to come in.
Wow.
So Ilya Sorokin getting pulled by Patrick Waugh after the last 2 goals being somewhat iffy. I mean, Bluger does have a lane to shoot, and this is probably more of a wake-up call to the rest of the team than anything else. You've given up 3 straight goals. Don't let this opportunity slip away. And so Hogberg comes in 1 minute and 5 seconds into this third period. Islanders down by 2. And New York had a 2-1 lead, but now trails by multiple goals for the first time tonight.
And Greg, we had talked about it coming in. Ilya Sorokin had allowed 3 goals against or less in his last 9 straight games. So the minute he gives up a 4th goal is when Patrick Waugh pulls him. Again, 1:05 into the third. Sorokin has surrendered 4 goals against, and his night is done. So Hogberg in the net to our left, and he played on Saturday afternoon in the 4-3 overtime loss to the Calgary Flames. Did have 31 saves in that contest. So Vancouver, with the last 3 straight goals, have gone from 2-1 down to 4-2 up. And Patrick Waugh wasting no time trying to spark his club here to, again, cut that lead in half as Bluger's 8th comes just 65 seconds into the final frame. Vancouver with it at the Islander line. Decked was one of the Canucks on a good hit by Gatcomb, who's been very physical tonight. Almost knocked the helmet off one of those Canucks there, who does get it back on his head in front of the Islander bench. And then that is Carlson, who gets his bucket back on tight and then chases the dump in. But the Islanders' Kyle McLean trying to work it out far side. Did get it to center. Simplikov has the red left side, sweeps it in deep. It eluded Thatcher Demko behind his net, but came to a teammate on the near boards, and Forbert got it out to center, only to have Romanov hammer it right back in. You may be able to hear the linesman yell, offside, offside, alerting the Islanders they have to tag up. Anthony Duclair does that, but allows Vancouver to break it out to center. Sending it in is Suter into the right wing corner of Islander ice. Besser locked up there leg on leg, battling Adam Pelech. In comes Pajot in support of Pelly. In comes Suter in support of Vancouver. Check that to Brust, but JG away with the luggage. Goes up to Duclair, spins it off the far wall, connects with Lee. 4-on-2 now over the Vancouver line they come. Dobson, top of the right circle, a shot, and blocked
Stuck
out
in
high.
Hughes' equipment.
Yeah, it's caught up in the equipment of Quinn Hughes. Finally dropped down as he was trying to find it, and Vancouver gets it to center ice. Islanders grab it there. Pajot over the Reds, going to back it up into his own end. Dobson takes a look at a crowded neutral zone, weaves his way under the scoreboard through center and dumps it right wing corner. Karam's left wing corner. Horvat, the former Canuck, in on the chase. Left half boards, joined by two Islanders. A 3-on-3 scrum now comes free for Palmieri. Kyle Palmieri backhands it around, finds Pullock at right point. Pulley settles it down, center point now for Riley. Top of the right circle, or left circle for Horvat. Spins toward the net, but missed it wide right. Pullock to the goal line, right wing corner. Pair of sixers battle there, he and Brock Besser. It's to Palmieri, left corner, left point Riley. Shoots from there and off the outside of the left post. Roenick winds it far side out to neutral ice.
Riley was really looking for deflection from Bo Horvat, as he wasn't shooting to score directly, but the deflection never comes, and that's why it goes wide.
So 4-2 Vancouver, 4 minutes into period 3. Simon Holmstrom shields it off nicely on the near wall in his own end, but turned it over in the center zone. And here come the Canucks again in transition, but O'Connor misses on a pass as Bluger was out of gas. That was the intended target. He crosses the ice to change. Islanders start their breakout on the stick of Romanov. Great pass to Fasching over the Vancouver line, but it rolled away from Hudson and became a turnover. Cizikas trying to hold the zone, could not. Vancouver gets it right wing over the Islander line. Sherwood with speed to the half wall. His shot deflected by the stick of Romanov, out of play. 4-2 Canucks. 15:36 to go in the third. The Bluger goal, his 8th. Connor Garland, the lone market for Teddy Bluger. It is his first goal in 10 games.
Still no shots on goal for Marcus Hogberg to see yet, as the Canucks haven't gotten a single shot on since that Bluger goal. Well, it was a shot from left dot that Bluger gets off the toe of his blade perfectly to fool Sorokin. That spelled the end of his night. 4 goals on 19 shots against.
So again, Sorokin had been on such a run, but again, playing for the 17th time in the last 19 games tonight. You wonder at some point if it catches up with him. And Patrick Roy perhaps saying, as you said, Greg, let's spark the team number 1, but Islanders do have 2 days off before they play again. Saturday afternoon in Tampa is their next game. So you can say I'm saving him for the next game, but when there's that much time in between, that's really not the
just
factor.
at this point of the season, when every point is so crucial, you're not thinking that way either.
Yep, you're right. You just got to find a spark. It's been 3 straight goals now for Vancouver. And again, stunning the Islanders in the final minute of the second and just over a minute into the third. Islanders trying to at least get within 1. Finally, Dobson to the far side for the captain, Anders Lee, and he flips it to Vancouver's end where Quinn Hughes is on it once again. Lee, and he flips it to Vancouver's end where Quinn Hughes is on it once again. So Hughes will stop between the circles directly in front of his net. He's watching the Islanders change, and some fresh legs arrive for Rick Tockett's guys as well. And a year ago, Tocchet won the Coach of the Year in the National Hockey League, the Jack Adams Award, leading the Vancouver Canucks to a division title. But they bowed out in the second round in 7 games to the Edmonton Oilers, as here the Islanders are guilty of icing. Just shy of 6 minutes into the third, Vancouver doubling up New York right now, 4-2.
Bluger has the only goal of this period. We've spoken a bunch about how Marcus Pettersson spent so much time in Pittsburgh, so the Islanders have seen a lot of him over the years before going to Vancouver. Bluger, too, 4.5 seasons with the Penguins before a brief stop in Vegas, and now his second year in Vancouver.
Face-off won by the Islanders in their own end behind their net. Mike Riley moves it ahead at center, then gets it back from Engvall. Riley to Horvat, left wing over the Vancouver line. As checked that was Simon Holmstrom on that return pass. As the top line remains intact, Holmstrom, Palmieri, and Horvat. Center point Riley in the Vancouver end. Fires, Demko the save. Palmieri the rebound, left of the net, was taken down. Never got the shot off. Holmstrom also took a tumble behind the Vancouver net, but that is going to lead to the first power play of the night for New York on a trip. So it's time for a New York Lottery power play. Let's get the call. Good work by Holmstrom to draw it.
Vancouver penalty number 43, 2 minutes for tripping.
So it is Quinn Hughes to the box, and the Islanders do a huge power play when we return. 13:40 to go in the third. New York down 2. You're listening to Islanders hockey on the New York Islanders Radio Network.
New York Islander game broadcasts are supported in part by MSG Plus and MSG.com.
You're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network. Find more information about the New York Islanders at NY Islanders across platforms X, Instagram, TikTok, and New York Islanders on Facebook.
University.
This is Adam Pelech. You're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
Well, Monday night here against the Blue Jackets, third-line right wing Hudson Fasching fell ill, so defenseman Adam Boqvist played in his spot and picked up a pair of assists. Well, Fasching was good to go tonight, so this morning Patrick Waugh was asked, was there any temptation to keep Boqvist in his spot because he had those 2 assists in the game?
No. It was clear, like, if Fash is ready to play, he'll play. I really feel like that line's been playing very well for us. They've been scoring like important goals. Pierre scored a big one in Pittsburgh to give us the win. Last game, he scored another good one in the first period when he cut in front of the net. So the way that these 3 guys been playing together certainly make my decision easier to want to keep them the way they are.
Again, talking about Hudson Fasching on that line with Cizikas and Engvall.
Islanders their first power play of the game. Quinn Hughes to the box for tripping Simon Holmstrom. 13:40 left in the third period. Islanders down by 2.
Again, they were 1 for 5 in Vancouver on the power play in the November 14th win. J.G. Pajot had the man-up goal, but Vancouver wins the face-off and skips it all the way down on Marcus Hogberg, who makes the stick save.
That should be his first save, and it comes from 185 feet away.
Another power play here Monday, though, Greg, was woeful against Columbus. 0 for 3 with only 2 shots on goal. Here they get it to the net. Noah Dobson all alone in front, but he steered it wide right along the ice on the feed from the left circle from Simon Holmstrom. Islanders do set it up in the Vancouver end. Palmieri down the left wing wall. Turned it over, though, to Marcus Pettersson in the far corner. He gets triple teamed, but they throw it in front for Teddy Bluger, and he's got room to skate it out to center 2-on-2. He'll just snap it in, head high. Another stop, this time with a glove by Hogberg, and the quick up to Horvat, right wing over the Vancouver line. Good poke by Forbert behind his net allows another clear for Van.
Well, that chance for Dobson and Tony DeAngelo stretch pass that finds Simon Holmstrom with some space left side. Dobson driving to the net. Canucks can't stay with them, but it goes off the toe of the blade of Dobson. He didn't get good wood on it, and it goes wide as a result.
And that Islander power play Monday here against the Jackets. 0 for 3, had only 2 shots on goal, and gave up the shorthanded goal against to Boone Jenner. Islanders here finally get into the power play set, but they turn it over. Forbert behind his own net just wrists it 200 feet all the way down.
And now nobody going to help Marcus Hogberg, and Islanders grateful that puck ended up in the trapezoid. It looked like for a moment it was going to stay in the corner with nobody going quickly, but does get it ahead to Mike Riley, next unit on.
30 seconds to go on the power play. Anders Lee drives to the left wing corner of Vancouver ice. Tangle for the puck. Canucks again get to it and again give it a ride behind the New York net. Absolutely powerless power play right now for New York. And the man advantage down to 15 seconds to go.
Just the one quick chance on a beautiful stretch pass. Other than that, nothing truly set up for the Islanders.
Pullock, right wing over the Vancouver line, pulls up to Riley, right point, floats it toward the net. A little knuckleball wide left. You can hear Hogberg banging his stick to alert the Islanders that Quinn Hughes is out of the box, and now it's a 3-on-2 for Vancouver as Garland carries it right wing over the New York line. Garland shoots off the chest of Hogberg. Big rebound, but cleaned up in front by Anders Lee. New York 0 for 1 on the power play, and the Islanders still trail 4-2 now with 11:20 to go in period 3.
No shots on goal for the Islanders on that 2-minute advantage.
Really, like you said, Greg, outside of that great chance by Dobson and the redirect, top of the crease, they had nothing. Here, a left point shot by Elias Pettersson up into the face of J.G. Pajot, and he's immediately down to his knees.
And there's some blood.
And they're signaling for the trainers, both teams are, for a trainer to come on the ice. J.G. Pajot took the shot from Elias Pettersson at left point, right up in his face. They get the towel to that immediately as trainer Damian Hess out to attend to him. And again, we see a lot of blood on that white towel already as Pajot, who's such a warrior, is led off the ice by trainer Damian Hess, still pressing that towel to the lower part of his face. So Greg looks like his mouth or his chin area.
Yeah, the first thing you think of is you just hope it's not the eyes, and it's definitely not. It's definitely much lower than that, but they do need the off-ice crew to come on and scrape up some blood that is sitting in the face-off circle.
All right, because of that, we are going to take a timeout. 11 to go in the third tonight here in Elmont. It's Vancouver 4 and New York 2. You're listening to New York Islanders hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
The numbers are in. Once again, WRHU is New York's number one non-commercial radio station. Thank you, New York, for your support.
88.7 WRHU, Radio Hofstra University. Daily Pay underwrites a part of this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU Radio Hofstra University.
This broadcast of New York Islanders hockey on WRHU is underwritten in part by UBS Arena. More information about UBS Arena is available at newyorkislanders.com/Belmont.
This is Anders Lee, and you're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
Well, in his 9 years with the Vancouver Canucks, Bo Horvat had 5 overtime game-winning goals. And a little over 2 seasons with New York, he already has 6 overtime goals. This morning, our partner Corey Wright asked him, was he really a go-to guy in overtime while he was with the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of a mixture, depending on, I was kind of either 1 or 2 to go out in Vancouver as well. And I scored a couple overtime goals there, but I think I have more here than I ever did in Van, which is, I don't know, it's crazy to think that, but, in the short time I've been here. But, just trying to, do what I can to get the puck and put it in the net when you get that opportunity.
That is Bo Horvat. And Greg, the Islanders have 5 overtime wins this year. He's had 3 of those sudden death goals.
Well, since his trade to the Islanders late January 2023, he has 6. He's tied with David Pastrnak for the 3rd most overtime winners in the entire National Hockey League. Sebastian Aho of the Hurricanes has 9. Leon Draisaitl of the Oilers has 7. And then Horvat and Pastrnak tied with 6.
Again, Horvat getting hopes to get a chance to show us that skill tonight if the Islanders can find a way to tie this one or win it in regulation, of course. But they trail 4-2 now with 11:11 to go in the third. Islanders' final game this year against the Canadian teams. There are 7 teams north of the border in the NHL. Islanders are 7-4-5 against the teams from Canada. They started very strong this year, 5-0-3 in the first 8 meetings against Canadian teams, but just 2-4-2 now in the last 8 as the Islanders have 9 Canadians and 9 Americans on their current roster. So puck loose in Islander ice, little soccer play by Tony DeAngelo, nicely directed ahead to Pierre Engvall, and then he got it into Vancouver ice down the left wing wall. Canucks, though, pick it off and then give it away to Romanov at left point. Shoots! Left pad save by Demko. A huge rebound, but went through Cizikas in the right circle. Casey knocked it down with a stick over the shoulder and then played it himself, and it's whistled down.
And that is a disagreement actually between the officials. The referee washed it out, saying that it was not played with a stick over the shoulder. The linesman blew the play down immediately. And now they're going to discuss. This is just really going to decide where the faceoff goes. And if it stays in the offensive zone, then it's an indication that they feel they got the call wrong.
Well, I thought it was over the shoulder, but Greg, take a look here. Tell us what you see on the replay.
Yeah, I think it was over the shoulder. I think the linesman was correct there. The referee was actually the one who was wrong. And you know what? It actually benefits the Islanders because if they had scored there, the Canucks could have challenged on a missed stoppage. Yeah. So the faceoff comes out to the neutral zone. The officials confer and say it was, in fact, a stick over the shoulder. Casey couldn't believe it, but he doesn't have the benefit of the replay that we had, and they got that right.
All right, faceoff in the neutral zone, again approaching the midpoint of the third. Islanders down 4-2. New York coming in as points in 6 straight games overall, points in 7 straight games on home ice. Islanders set up Duclair, left of the net, put it in the paint. What a save, Demko on Lee as the captain battled to slide it home, and then the Canucks slide it to center.
That was a backhand for Anders Lee, top of the blue paint there that Demko was able to kick aside with the left pad.
So Canucks start the breakout in their own end. Tyler Myers up the middle, missed, and that should be an icing, and there's the whistle. Again, 14 seconds from the midpoint of the third. Canucks doubling up the Isles 4-2.
And the Islanders playing without J.G. Pajot right now. A few minutes ago, took a Pettersson shot right off either the mouth or chin, somewhere up high, and had to go off the ice for some repairs. Not sure if we'll see him before this night comes to its conclusion.
Islanders' last regulation loss was March 11th in Los Angeles, 4-1 of the Kings, who, again, have only lost 3 home games in regulation all season. Just a remarkable number this late in the year. Islanders can't hold the zone here as Vancouver forced it to the New York line. Noah Dobson, the quick up to Pelech. Left wing at the checkered stripe, sends it in deep. Thatcher Demko cuts it off behind his net. Tyler Myers rims it around far side, connects with Bluger in front of the Vancouver bench. Then the Garland 2-on-2 through the right circle. Got up the quick shot, missed wide right. Carried right to Bo Horvat. He's got speed right wing over the red over the Vancouver blue, but a good stick check by Forbert. Pushed it back to center, and then the Islanders brought it back in offside. 9:43 to go in the third. 4-2 Vancouver. Islander goals tonight, Cizikas and D'Angelo. But for the Canucks, it's Sherwood, Ratu, Forbert, and Bluger.
By the way, since we were just talking about Bo Horvat and those 6 overtime winners since he came to the Islanders, since that date, the end of January, there are no other active on the roster Islanders who have more than a single overtime goal. Brock Nelson had 3 in that run. He is now a member of the Colorado Avalanche, and Matt Barzal, who's been out since early February, has 2 since Bo Horvat became an Islander.
So again, Islanders hoping to get this one to overtime or win it in regulation, but they still trail by a pair here as we pass the midpoint of the third. Again, Vancouver 1-1-1, 3 games into this 6-game road trip, which is tied for their longest of the year. Their previous 6-game road trip, they did go 4-1-1, so they had a lot of success in that one. Started this one out with an overtime loss at St. Louis, and then the loss to the Rangers at the Garden on the weekend. And salute to Sam, as the Rangers honored Sam Rosen and won that game for him. So the Canucks again won in a shootout Monday night in New Jersey, trying to win here tonight. Again, pull themselves within 3 points of the Blues for the final wild card spot in the West. Here a shot top of the right circle, a right pad save by Hogberg on that try by Atu Ratu, bidding for his second of the night. Joshua down the middle for Sherwood. He was taken down by Kyle McLean, who may have gotten away with a trip there, and the puck flipped out to center by New York.
I think they say just got enough of the puck as well to deem it a legal play.
Quinn Hughes to the net, redirected front, good save Hogberg, as getting a piece of it there, I think, was O'Connor for the Canucks, and now it's Tyler Myers through the left circle. Sharp angle try, blocked by Anders Lee. Poked behind the New York net, Ryan Pulock to the far side, and he's going to backhand it out to center. Picked off, though, by the Canucks, who have to wait to get back onside. They do. DeBrusk carries it down the left wing wall. Again, Jake DeBrusk and Brock Besser tied for the team-leading goals, coming in with 23 apiece. Of course, Quinn Hughes leads all Canucks in assists and points. Tyler Myers, center point, wide right on purpose, playing for the Karen, which does come to Besser. And then the left point try by Marcus Pettersson missed the net. Vancouver pinning the Islanders in their own end right now as the clock becomes a factor with under 8 minutes remaining. Islanders down 2 here. A quick shot left of the paint. Pius Suter wouldn't go. Canucks go out to the point. Hit Suter in the high slot. Steers it into the left wing corner for DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk, the longtime Bruin, plays it off top of the left circle. Besser through the slot. Right circle for Myers. Walking in. Sharp angle shot. Knocked aside by Hogberg. Anthony Duclair, quick up the center. Anders Lee got the red and then sent it in deep, but the Islanders are exhausted, and they get 5 fresh bodies out there.
7:30 to go now in this third period. Islanders down by 2 as the Canucks have controlled play for the last few minutes, but a giveaway.
Here's a chance. Engvall, top of the right circle on the backhand. Curls to the forehand, takes it to the goal line. Pierre behind the net. Tried to leave it there for Cizikas, but his pocket was picked by Forbert. And now Casey tries to steal it back and tied him up enough that Engvall came away with it. To Cizikas in the trapezoid behind the Vancouver net. Casey drives left half boards. Left point now, handcuff Pelech. Right point Dobson, the wrister. Good glove save by Demko. Around the screen in front, set by Hudson Fasching. 6:57 to go in the third. Vancouver still doubling up New York, 4-2.
On each of the last 6 games for the Islanders, they've gotten at least 1 point in each of the last 6, but the team that has been leading in the third period has allowed a lead to slip away. That started with the overtime defeat to the Edmonton Oilers, where the Islanders were down 1-0 in the third and came back to force overtime. It includes the 2 come-from-behind regulation wins against the Panthers and the Penguins, blowing the lead but still winning against the Canadiens, blowing the lead but losing in overtime against the Flames, and blowing the lead and losing in the shootout to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
So again, Islanders trailing, a unfamiliar spot for them right here. Maybe that'll be the charm, as they don't have a lead to blow right now. They're trying to find a way to win this game. They are winless in their last 2 games coming in. Overtime loss to the Flames, shootout loss to Columbus. After that overtime win against the Canadiens opened up the 4-game homestand. So the Islanders again will have that 2-game road trip this weekend in Tampa and Raleigh, and then back for another 3-game homestand starting Tuesday night against the Tampa Bay Lightning. As we get a puck here Canucks offside at the New York line. So choppy stretch here is Patrick Waugh. Greg, we know how aggressive he is with his goalie pulls. With New York down 2, is it getting close to that time with the clock showing 6:39 to go?
It might be just because the Islanders have not shown much offense. We see him pull the netminder down 3 with, say, 12 minutes to go. And if he sees his team in need of some offense, so only 4 shots on goal for the Islanders in this third. Not nearly enough.
Again, reminiscent of what happened here Monday night. Islanders outshot by the Blue Jackets 17-4 in the final frame. Here the Jackets, the Canucks, the Jackets were here Monday night, have Dakota Joshua on it, right wing corner Islander zone. He skates top of the right circle and forces the shot that's wide left of the net. New York cleans it up on the near wall. Kyle McLean is double teamed and turned it over. Joshua decked on a hit by Gatcombe, who maybe has his most physical game as an Islander tonight. I don't remember Mark Gatcombe with as many hits as he had tonight, especially hits that have decked opponents. So he has really done a nice job with physical play, but Islanders need offense now as the clock ticks under 6 minutes to go. New York outshooting Vancouver 25-24, but they trail by 2. Here it slides in wide left of the Vancouver net. No icing, as they say. I think Holmstrom got a piece at center. Islanders Horvat has it right wing corner, but he's knocked off it on a good aggressive play by O'Connor, who then races through center over the red, over the Islander blue. O'Connor, top of the left circle, trying to get around Dobson, who forced him into the near boards. Palmieri comes in, takes away the biscuit, but turned it over. Garland out to right point now. They work it back to Garland in the right corner. Connor Garland trying to spin away from Palmieri, does. And then on the half boards, he's trying to find real estate. Palmieri all over him, took it off his stick, and then he and Pellick try to find a way to get it out. Palmieri dropped it off behind the net for Noah Dobson as we come up on 5 minutes remaining in regulation. Now we'll really keep an eye on Marcus Hogberg to see when Patrick Waugh wants to pull his netminder. Hogberg at the top of the paint as Engvall skates it to the left circle. He's got a lane, shoots, and he hit the outside of the left post. Oh, the big Swede that close to making it a 1-goal game. Vancouver's Besser slides this all the way down, short of the goal line, no icing.
Using that speed and going up head-to-head against Tyler Myers, not the most fleet-of-foot defenseman. That's how he gets around him easily.
Boy, they let this one
drew
go.
A penalty.
A penalty coming. I thought it was offside, but a penalty coming against Vancouver. So Islanders to the power play when we come back. New York trailing 4-2, 4:41 to go in the third. Let's get to the call before we step out.
Vancouver penalty number 24, 2-minute minor, hook it.
So Pius Suter on the hook, back with a huge power play for New York when we return. You're listening to New York Islanders hockey on the Islanders Radio Network.
New York Islanders hockey is underwritten by the NHL on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
When the Islanders are on the ice, we're on the air. The New York Islanders Radio Network.
Acrisure underwrites a part of this New York Islanders live game broadcast on WRHU Radio Hofstra University.
This is Anthony Duclair, and you're listening to the New York Islanders Radio Network.
Well, last year, Quinn Hughes won the Norris Trophy as the NHL's best defenseman. He led all Blue Liners with 92 points. Noah Dobson had 70 points last year, a career-high 7th among all defensemen in the National Hockey League. This morning, Dobson was asked his thoughts of Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, he's outstanding. Fun to watch. He's dynamic every time he's on the ice. Some of the stuff he does offensively, it's special to see. You can learn a lot from a guy like that. So I think he's right up there with one of the top players in the game right now. So he's a fun guy to watch when he's on TV for sure.
That is Noah Dobson on Quinn Hughes.
Islanders, their second power play of the game. It's Marcus Hogberg still in his crease, so the Islanders do not pull him to make it 6-on-4 quite yet. 4:41 to go in the third period. Canucks up by 2 as it's Pius Suter to the penalty box for infracting on Mike Riley.
Again, they get him for hooking. And again, J.G. Pajot is back on the Islander bench. He works power play and penalty kill.
He's got the plugs up both nostrils.
So again, we'll see if he gets out there with a second unit, but the Islanders win the faceoff. 0-for-1 on the power play with no shots on goal on their first power play earlier this period. But this is opportunity knocking for New York. Down 2, but up a man here. Vancouver gets an early clear. So maybe Patrick Roy given this power play 1 minute 5-on-4, and then you go 1 minute 6-on-4 and pull your goaltender as the Islanders gain the zone. Holmstrom through the left circle, hits the brakes, lost an edge and fell down, and then turned it over. Vancouver wheels it up the near side, but not out. Good hold, Tony DeAngelo. There goes Hogberg to the Islander bench. Just as the Islanders turn it over, Tyler Myers going to shoot it all the way down, but way wide of the vacated cage.
I don't even think he knew that Hogberg had vacated that net, as he just wanted to get it down as quickly as possible. So 1:15 to go on the power play, 6-on-4.
Again, under 4 minutes remaining in regulation now. Islanders down 4-2. Horvat stashes it in deep. It hugs the dasher far side to near. Vancouver trying to get it out on that right wing wall. Islanders hold it in. Holmstrom right of the net. Point blank shot. What a save by Demko on that nice feed from Horvat behind the cage. 3:40 to go in regulation. A minute remaining in the Suter minor for hooking Mike Riley. Islanders down 2, and again, they'll stay 6-on-4 with an empty net.
Tic-tac-toe there from Fasching, winning the puck right side corner. Horvat behind the net. Holmstrom bomb the right circle, but no room. Short side given up by Thatcher Demko, so it would have needed to be a leaker from Demko, and that didn't occur.
Again, the Canucks shoot for that empty net without the fear of icing for the next minute because they're short-handed. Incredible that Pajot is right back out there to take the offensive zone draw, and he beats Bluger cleanly. To Riley at right point, plays catch with Dobson at left point, or rather Pullock, and then gets it back center point. Mike Riley, top of the right circle, Duclair in the bumper, got it back from Horvat, right of the net. They move it in front. Palmieri was taken down by Garland, or rather Lee was on the doorstep. No penalty called. Lee battles for the puck in the left wing corner with Pajot. Now to Pullock, straight on to Riley at the blue line. Left, or rather right dot, Duclair skates it out to the blue line. 30 to go in the power play. They fed Pajot in the bumper, but he whiffed on the one-timer off that pass from Horvat, and it came all the way back to Islander ice.
25 seconds to go on the 6-on-4, 3:04 left in this contest.
So Tony DeAngelo races it through center. Got it at Riley, who sent it in deep. Thatcher Demko tried to stop it. It jumped over his goal stick. Held in by Horvat in the right wing corner, but it rolled away. Again, Canucks on it, but they give it up. Pajot to Lee behind the net. Left wing corner now. They work at DeAngelo straight out for the left point shot by Riley. That's knocked down in front. Duclair below the goal line. Out of the box is Suter. So now it's a 6-on-5 Islander man advantage. Their net's still empty. 2.5 to go. New York down by 2. Riley left point. Top of the right circle, Anthony Duclair. Right half boards now, connects with Horvat. Surveys the scene, tried to go through the seam, broken up by the Canucks. Horvat, goal line, right corner. Plays it behind the net for Lee. Left corner, DeAngelo, the defenseman, down deep on the goal line. To Lee, now right wing corner for Horvat. Right point for Duclair. To Horvat, right wing corner on the goal line. They crisscross down the wall in that scissor play to Duclair and Horvat. The Duke to DeAngelo, left corner, coming up on 2 minutes to go. Islanders down 2, skating 6-on-5 with no goalie and an extra attacker. Duclair worked it down deep in the slot, stolen by Vancouver. They're going to skate it 2-on-2 through center. Pius Suter again has an empty net. He crosses the Islander line, passes right circle, the quick shot, they score. Empty net goal for Kiefer Sherwood, his second of the game. Make it 4 unanswered goals for the Canucks, and that will ice it for Vancouver as they lead it 5-2 with just a minute 52 seconds remaining in regulation time.
Everything kept to the outside there when the Islanders tried to get it into the box or the house in front of Demko. Just nothing was given to them as they lose possession. Duclair trying to go into the slot at one point for Pajot. That swing and a miss from a point-blank effort. Go back a minute ago or so, that was still with a 6-on-4 advantage. But Pius Suter hits the blue line. Sees Mike Riley in his path. That's why he goes to the right side for Sherwood. Make it a 2-goal game for him. As the depth scoring gets the job done for the Canucks here tonight.
So Hogberg back between the pipes. 100 seconds remaining in this one. Exactly as the puck heads out of play. So Greg, the Islanders handed 2 third-period power plays. They had no shots on the first one. They had only 1 shot on the second opportunity.
That could be a long 2 days now off between games for the Islanders. Thursday and Friday they will be off. The Canadiens will play twice.
Yep.
And feeling so great about things just a few days ago, and unfortunately one of the possible 4 points in the last 2 games of this homestand, both very winnable.
So again, Montreal at 75, Islanders at 74, Rangers at 74, but the Islanders are going to stay at 74. They had a chance to jump over the Canadiens and put themselves in a playoff spot for the first time since November 19th tonight, but are unable to do it as Thatcher Demko covers a loose puck. So again, the Canadiens at 75, Islanders at 74. As you said, Montreal plays in Philly tomorrow, at Carolina Friday. Rangers are in Anaheim Friday, and then Saturday finish out that California road swing against the Sharks. But again, Rangers have 1 game. Montreal has 2 before the Islanders play again Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock in Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, it's a tough weekend ahead for the Islanders, too, going to 2 very difficult buildings in Amalie Arena and in Lenovo Center, formerly PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina.
So Canucks win the face-off. Again, Vancouver's about to go to 2-1-1. 4 games into this 6-game road trip and make it back-to-back victories in the local area as they won it 4-3 in a shootout at the Rock over the Devils on Monday night after dropping the first 2 games of the trip at St. Louis and Madison Square Garden. Here's Sherwood through the right circle bidding for a hat trick, and he missed it wide left in the final minute. So Rick Tocchet has keeper Sherwood out there. Dakota Joshua in the high slot, lifted it over the net, grabbed by Noah Dobson on the far side, and he'll move it out to center. Islanders a 2-on-2. Engvall with Fasching. Pierre, top of the left circle, pass broken up. Sherwood trying to fight it free to center does, and Noah Dobson will back skate it to the Islander line. Taken there by Casey Cizikas. He backhands it off the near wall behind the Canuck net. Gatcomb giving chase with Engvall. 30 seconds remaining in this one. Vancouver, a 5-2 lead on Sherwood's 17th of the year into the empty net at 18:08. That has sealed the fate of New York. Dakota Joshua still giving a great effort, though. He was on his belly, so he decided to sweep the puck from his own end all the way down the ice before the Islander goal line. No icing. 10 seconds remaining in this one tonight here at UBS Arena. Cizikas out to center. Siplikov to the Canuck line with 5. Skating it back behind his net now is Carlson with 3, 2, and 1, and the horn will sound. And the Vancouver Canucks defeat the New York Islanders by the final score of 5-2. They remain perfect at UBS Arena. 4 games in this building, 4 wins, as the Islanders see their overall 6-game point streak to come to an end, and their 7-game home point streak come to a conclusion as well.
And they just can't get to that 5-game over NHL 500 mark as they fall back to 3 under, and not a single time this year have they been able to get to 5 over. And 4 unanswered goals to wrap this thing up for the Canucks, as the Islanders did have a 2-1 lead, a shorthanded goal, and a 4-on-4.
What if I open my soul? Here I stand by myself on my own. What if I lose all control? the surprise. I'd rather want you to just let me be. Oh, oh, oh. What do I know? What's going on now? Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I let go? I do really want to know what's going on now. Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I say so? We're just putting on a show. Come on, get a grip now.